Welcome back to another episode of the Real Life Investing Podcast with Jason and Rachel Wagner. I cannot believe, finally, we are here tonight with Jennie Berger and Tristan Lora. They are joining us. And Jennie, we've been trying to get you on the show for, I don't know, we've talked about it a lot. And we're just like, boy, Jennie is the type of person that you would want to go like deep dive, Joe Rogan style, 3 hours, just because she's got like so much wisdom and like so much to share. She's been through a lot. And then you're like, well, I can bring Tristan too. So this could go on for like six hours
so
with the
many
two
layers.
of you. But we won't do that.
We'll just spend the night.
Yeah, I know. You totally could.
A slumber party.
Yeah. But you guys are so cool because you're so authentic and you're just so transparent. You're really fun to be around. Interesting thing, like anytime that I kind of like walk into a room with Jennie, she's always like, she's glowing. And then one thing I remember about you too is that you give like the most, not to step on anyone's toes here, but you give the most memorable hugs.
Oh yeah, they're very intentional.
Has anyone ever told you that?
Aww.
Because like when you go, oh hey, great to see you again, you give a friendly hug. Jennie doesn't let go.
Yeah, they're very
You know what I mean?
intentional. There's like a greeting,
Yeah.
and then there's a hug, and then there's like a pause goodbye. It's very intentional and very memorable.
That's so sweet.
So,
Thank you.
So part of me, I know we said we wanted to start with real estate first, but part of me wanted to just kind of compliment you on that because I know you do that very intentionally.
Well, you make people feel very special and very seen when you do that.
It's
Oh my gosh.
for Jennie. She's very present. So a
That's
lot
a
of
good word,
people
yeah.
are, on to the next already. And Jennie's right there just giving us a hug and
Yeah.
letting us know that she's there.
Yeah, that's a
Very
great way
present.
that's a great way to say it.
Thank you. That's very kind of you all to say. I'm really touched. And yeah, they are intentional. I do love hugs and I love people. It's kind of funny because a lot of things in my life I'm not present for. Like I've just discovered recently that when we're playing pickleball, I'm usually taking the shot and then on to the next shot before I complete that shot, which leads me to make a lot of mistakes. And so I've told Tristan actually yesterday, I've learned that I do that in a lot of areas of my life. I'm doing something and trying to do the next part of that something while I'm still doing the last piece of that. And it continues. And I knock into things or I drop things or I mess up the shot. And so it's funny that you say that about the hugs and being present because I would like to believe that I'm like that in all areas of my life, but I'm not. But thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're always trying to think about the next step and like, well, what's the next thing coming down the pipeline? And you do a really good job of just it. Again, the thing that I really admire about you is just like the human touch of things, and you've always just kind of had that. One of the reasons why we wanted to have you come on is just because you kind of bring that extra flair and that extra specialness when you walk into a room, which is really great and it's really unique. And I think a lot of us are like, how do we be more present in our lives? And sometimes it kind of like comes down to maybe just the little simple things, and you're good at that, which is just. Whether it's maybe a longer handshake, right? Or whether it's like, just very intentional with, I'm here, I'm listening to you, and, I'm going to hug you just for an extra half second so that you kind of feel like, I know you're pulling away, but I'm going to hold you just a little bit tighter for a second. It's just like, it's memorable and it's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So kind of you. Thank you.
Anyways, Jennie, you've gone through an interesting like real estate cycle here. How we met, you were on the development side. And you were building beautiful condos and you were coming off of flips and doing some really impressive, amazing design work. And then you've kind of like transitioned into this new world of lending and like being a private lender. And you're not a bank. Like you don't walk around in a suit.
No, I wear
like
workout
holding a
clothes
briefcase
most
up
days. I wear yoga outfits most of the time.
What is that? Or tell me what this private lending world is, how you came across it, and how's it going?
So it's going well. It's slow, but I'm a believer in growing things slowly. I've tried to do things quickly in the past, and it ends up backfiring in some way. Yes, I was doing development, design, construction, and that was fun, and I loved it. And I'll always have that creative design bug inside me, and I think just as passion projects, I'll always want to do some sort of design work. But the last project that I worked on, which was Sheffield, the 3-unit in Lakeview, it was really, really, really difficult in so many ways, and it broke my former partnership apart, my business partnership, and I learned a lot of lessons from it, but going through it, it was really, really hard, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I needed a break. I needed to just get away from that for a little bit. It was a lot of skin in the game, and I didn't want to have my skin in that game.
Yeah.
But I knew I wanted to do something still in real estate. And I had done a private loan a few years back the wrong way. I didn't do, any of the title work, and I didn't have an attorney draw up loan documents. It was just, oh, here, you need this for this duplex? Sure, here, take this money and just make monthly payments, and then you can pay me back when you say you're going to pay me back, and it's all good. And luckily, I got paid back mostly. But after that, I realized actually that was kind of cool. Even though I did it wrong, it still was cool when it all came to, getting paid back that final lump sum. And I just wanted to look more into what private lending was about, being an actual private lender. So
You did it right. You got paid back.
mostly.
Doing it wrong would be you lost it all.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks for the support.
The other side.
So what does it look like right now for somebody to come to you and be like, hey, I'm looking for $100,000 to help fund a renovation on a property? Is that the type of client that you're looking at? Somebody that is a flipper or doing something to real estate? Or could it also be, hey, going through a divorce over here, I'm trying to buy out my wife. Is there any possibility that I could, get some money to help buy out the home?
I wouldn't be surprised if I got that request, because since I've started this whole private lending journey and putting out all these reels on Instagram, I have gotten so many requests for lending that have nothing to do with real estate, or sort of like maybe working capital for the real estate investors so that they can do more deals over here, but they just need a working capital loan, which is still related to real estate. But yeah, I've gotten non-real estate related requests too. I'm like, I'm not that kind of lender. All of the lending we do is backed by real estate. But yes, that's exactly right up our alley, or my alley, is fix and flip loans, like term loans, 6 to 9 months for renovation projects, or BRRRRs, where they're buying, renovating, and renting, and then refinancing and doing it over again. So short term, and also transactional funding for double closes, which is something that I really wanted to get more into, but just haven't had a deal close on that front yet.
And that's like a wholesale.
Well, you work a lot of times with wholesalers who can't assign a contract. They have to actually close on the purchase and then turn around and sell it. So in that sense, yes, but it's actually buying the property and then just reselling it. So,
Yes. Yeah.
So it's quicker money, smaller fee. I would say less risk, because everything is just
you've already got your end
staying
buyer.
at the title company. You have the end buyer. The end buyer's funds should, in theory, be there before you release your funds for that first half. So that was why I really wanted to get into private lending, was to do transactional
Was to do more
funding.
double closes. Okay.
Exactly.
But you're finding that you're doing more of just people that are doing renovation projects, or like regular investors.
People like me.
Yeah.
Before I went into new construction, just like people that are looking to buy an investment property, renovate it, and sell it. Yeah, or refinance and keep it as a rental, and then they'll pay me back, get into a longer term loan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, do you put a lien on the house?
Yeah. Yeah, we're in first lien position. We have all of the security documents in place, the same way that a bank would. If you were a bank lender, or a bank person, and someone was coming to you for a mortgage for their primary residence, you would have to sign a slew of documents that make sure that the bank is protected, and that's exactly the way we're protected. We have all those same documents and recorded and in place and on file.
And then what happens if they don't make the payment?
It's a great question, and I hope to never really know the answer to that.
Yeah.
That's where I come in. It's the ongoing joke.
Tristan has the answers.
Yes. We'll take the
Tristan's
Harley to
muscle.
that meeting.
Have you met Tristan?
He's the comedian and the muscle.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta have that. Yeah. This is hard money,
Yeah, if a borrower were to default, the worst case scenario is we would have to foreclose and take over the property,
Yeah.
and then figure out where it is in its process, if it would make sense to just try to finish up the rehab myself with my own crews and then sell it, or just put it on the market, or market it to some other investors and say, hey, this is what happened, come in and take this project over, it has about this much left. But we hope to never get there, and one of the things we do is always try to make sure that the amount of money we have invested at any given time is less than the value of the property. So we're always funding the draws in milestones according to the scope of work, and only lending up to a certain percentage of the after repair value.
Oh, okay. Not the as is value, but the.
Yeah, some people do the as is value, and I could be totally wrong on this, but if I did the as is value, I probably wouldn't fund a single loan.
Right, yeah.
Especially here in our market.
Yeah.
Maybe some markets you have that availability, but I haven't found that here yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
unless you could find that probably on more suburban homes, where the values are really high and like cosmetic repairs. You just get in there. The house is $500,000, and all you need is $30,000, and so the as-is value is actually $500, and you're getting it for $450, and that's still a deal. And so, yeah, you could probably do a loan based on the as-is value there very well, but we're not in that price category yet, and we're that's not our niche at this time.
Yeah. So do you do it based off of a total like ARV, or do you do it based off of loan to cost?
I do loan to cost,
Yeah.
as long as it doesn't exceed, it's usually around 75% of the value, the after repair value.
Okay.
So we'll do like 90
Gotcha.
to
Yep.
95% of the purchase and rehab.
Wow.
Yep.
Well,
As long
that's
as the numbers always make sense, the
great.
after repair value has to be there. And obviously it's a relationship-based business. So like my borrowers I know them, or they've been like referred to me by really, really strong network connections. And I've gone through a thorough vetting of them. Granted, anything can happen. People change. But I do the best vetting that I can to really dig in and make sure that they have what's needed just in case something does go wrong.
So do you have an appraisal network now, or like when you need someone to go value, what's the ARV? Because the appraiser can give you that number.
Yeah, I'm a licensed agent, so I kind of trust my values sometimes
Yes,
more than
you
the
are.
appraiser.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's
In this market,
Yeah.
right, in Chicago and vicinity. If it's outside of the state, because we're doing a loan in Texas right now in Houston, I will either have an appraisal done, or I'll get a BPO, or just something from someone local, maybe a local lending colleague who knows the market really well there. Maybe they'll do a drive-by and they'll run some comps for me too. So if it's this market, I feel pretty good about like my own value estimations.
Yeah.
Well, while making sure that the place is real as well.
That's-
having those video walkthroughs or going to see them in person. When we were looking at the Houston one, it was, who's our friend in Houston that can go by this address to make sure this is real?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have to be licensed in order to lend in another state, or is there any type of state requirement for that to be a lender?
It's a good question. For investment properties, many states you do not have to be licensed. I think there are some where you need to be if you're going to do kind of like a brokering of a loan. So if I weren't lending my own capital and I was just maybe facilitating, bringing another capital partner, if you will, to the table, and they wanted to fund the loan and I was acting as like broker, facilitator, transaction coordinator, and collecting a fee at closing, there might be some states where I can't do that. I just don't know. I don't know from state to state. So I typically will just check with an attorney before agreeing to lend in any state to make sure that I don't need a license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. So cool. Do you anticipate, like, I don't know how you, like, is it just your capital that you're just lending out, or is it a group of people, or you have other investors that you're like, hey, you know, you've got some extra money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
All
how
of the
it
above.
works? All of the above.
It started
Okay.
with my own capital. I did
Yeah.
my own loan first, and then then that was that first loan I told you about. Then I did the second one by myself with the right documents and the right process. It worked. It was great. And I said, okay. Then I talked to my dad. I said, Dad, this is what I'm doing. Do you want to do this? He said, it sounds amazing. Let's do it. So he put some capital into the next loan. That worked really well. And I was like, oh my God, I got to grow this thing.
It's
like, this
working.
is more deals,
Yeah.
more money, And so then I brought on another capital partner who is also in real estate and just has, kind of money sitting on the sidelines and wanted to deploy it somehow. So he's now a capital partner. And then I have a line of credit that I'll also use sometimes. And I'm trying to get more capital partners. So I want to be able to fund more loans and not necessarily just use all my own money. So yeah, it's a blend.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Is there a certain amount of loans that you would want to have like active at one time, like right now? Or is there, you know what I mean? As I'm thinking about like, boy, if I were to be doing like 10 projects right now, that just seems like a lot, you know what I mean? But I'm not, but you're in such a different position. It's just like, yeah, we've got money out on 10 different projects. I'm not running around doing that stuff. I'm not hiring the contractors. I'm just, making sure that they're paying me every month.
Right.
Is there a certain amount where you're just like, this is too much, or like there's too many things, or is it there's really not a cap to how many loans you could have?
I think I don't know the answer to that yet because
Yeah.
I'm really just starting. I'm a couple years into this and really only 7 or 8 weeks into scaling the operation. And the most I've ever had out at once, I think, was two or three loans, maybe 2 loans at the same time, which
Yeah.
is totally fine. The bulk of the work is in the underwriting. It's in vetting the borrower if it's a new one, or if it's an existing borrower, like re-vetting and making sure that nothing substantial has changed, checking bank statements, things like that. But underwriting the deal and just getting to the closing table. Once that's done and you're in servicing, then it's really a piece of cake. So I don't know. I don't know. Yes, there will be a cap where I'm going to be like, I can't do this.
That's a threshold she's trying to find currently.
Find it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you kind of find that.
And I don't want to ever get to the point where I'm so busy that I just can't breathe, or I feel like I'm underwater, or I'm just always working. I'm trying to get away from that and get into this to not be living that kind of life.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to do it slowly and methodically.
Yeah.
Smart.
I think one of the most interesting things about the capital that Jennie uses is how she's using her own capital and where she's getting it from. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, about your retirement?
Oh, like self-directed?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's like one of the best.
So you're doing like
secrets.
a self-directed IRA on some of this stuff?
I have a self-directed Roth IRA that I invested in a syndication deal back 5 years ago. And you can use your self-directed retirement accounts to lend on real estate. So if it's not self-directed yet, and you just, let's say you have a solo 401k or an IRA or a Roth IRA, you can make it self-directed essentially, and then you can lend on real estate through that account, which is really nice for a lot of people. That's one way that I lend, or have access to certain capital, is through that account.
Yeah. Was it
Yeah.
hard to set that up?
No, it's just a little paperwork.
Who do you use?
I work with Camaplan. They're
Okay.
a third-party administrator in Ambler, Pennsylvania. They were recommended to me a few years ago. I just looked through a couple of different ones and chose them because their fees I thought were reasonable. They do charge fees, and you do have to fill out paperwork and set that stuff up. But once you get that set up and you have the account, and then you know where the money's coming from, whether it's like Fidelity, Vanguard, or wherever you're housing your home of your IRA is or your Roth, then it's a direct transfer. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, and sometimes there may or may not be a taxable event that occurs, like when you take it from your other retirement accounts and put it into your IRA. Did you have that kind of? Did you have to go through any of that when you set yours up to begin with?
Only if you get a check. If
Okay.
they send you a check, then you have a certain window of time. It might be 60 days.
Yeah.
But I don't. I just do a direct transfer. So
Yeah,
it goes
okay.
from institution to institution. I never touch the money.
Yeah.
And all interest earned just goes right back into that account.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, you really didn't have any taxable event, so there wasn't any issue with. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I did. I bought a apartment building using self-directed IRA funds, and it was great because we got a low appraisal, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll still give you the loan, but you got to come up with more money." And I was like, "Where am I going to get this?" Then I was like, "Well, wait a second. I heard about this self-directed IRA thing, and then I set it up, and then I was like, boom, there it is. Wow, funded."
See, that's cool. Now, I know that there's something called disqualified persons, and I don't know. I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax advisor, so I don't know the ins and outs of this. But I know that there are certain people that you cannot lend to if you're using your self-directed retirement account, depending on who that person is, like if it's a relative, for instance. If there's
Yes.
interest, there's all these things. The reason I say that is because you did
Yes.
a loan to yourself with
Well, so legally we were able to do it, and I'd have to go back and like actually figure out how we fit it. It was literally a puzzle, because it has to be managed by a third party, which is another entity. So it's actually managed by Greystone.
Okay.
It's owned by because of the ownership percentage between me and the other partner. Well, the IRA is its own entity. Me personally am an individual. The partner is an individual. And then because of the ownership makeup, the percentages, it worked.
It worked.
And I was like,
That's amazing.
I'm like, okay, well, I don't have any other source here, so I have to make this work. So
Yeah.
I got on the phone with an attorney, and he checked it all, and he's like, yeah, it should be fine.
That's awesome.
And so, but yeah, that is one of those things. So yeah, there are lots of rules to it. Did you talk to like an IRA, a self-directed IRA consultant or anything? Because there's kind of a space for that too. No, just
No.
through the account that you had, they were able to give you enough
third
guidance.
party administrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I learned a little bit about it in one of our real estate investor meetups.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it was before. No, it was after I had already done it. But yeah, no, I don't. That's about the extent of what I know.
Yeah.
I know just enough
Yeah.
to know enough.
Yeah.
You know, beyond that is like extra.
You know it's possible.
Yeah.
Beyond that is AI. If I need more information, I just ask Tristan,
Yeah.
or I ask AI.
That's a good. So Tristan first. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, Tristan always first. Yeah, and then I'm like, why did I just bother him with that text? I could have asked ChatGPT. What do you do when the microwave won't turn on? Reset the breaker. I'm like, never mind. I got the answer. I feel so bad. It's such a stupid
I
question.
was
No.
going to ask you which AI you use, ChatGPT or Grok, but you said ChatGPT.
And Gemini.
And Gemini.
Gemini.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I
We haven't
started
touched
with
that one.
Gemini just because I have a Google Pixel phone. So
Yeah.
I got the advanced version for free, and that was where I started. And then Tristan told me he's using both. So I thought, well,
I use a plethora.
you use
of
more
them.
than that now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm on about 5.
Five?
Try,
5.
yeah.
I don't
Which-
even know 5.
There's Claude as well.
Claude.
All the ones that we're talking about are language learning models. There's other versions that write software and code and different things that I'm trying to teach myself in my spare time.
In your 8th life, in your spare time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
My father's an internet architect. He's been in the code writing for years. A lot that you see with Amazon today, when you click a button and a lot happens. And my dad's in control of what all happens when you click a button, what you see, how you see it. And he writes a lot of that code. So it's always interested me in that. And I have a brain that works differently than most people in the creative world, in the festival production world. And I want to create different things that just don't exist. So this AI is 4 years of college or 6 years of college for me. I have my own PhD team by my side teaching me what to do to make what I need better.
So what's an example of some of the code that maybe you're trying to learn so that you can implement?
I do not like spreadsheets.
Okay.
I'm not a pivot table kind of guy.
Yeah.
But my whole life, sadly, is about budgets and organization. And if I can dictate what needs to go where and have it just presented in a way that other people can read it, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So, for example, I can design a whole event or a festival or a tournament or something in my head. I need to be able to put that on paper. And AI really allots for that to happen in different ways, not only just in pivot tables and spreadsheets and budgets, but pitch decks and high-end renderings and walkthroughs and problem solving and finding, potential gaps in fencing and stuff like that. So I use AI in a whole different realm, not just the language learning model, which is where I started 2 years ago with it. Was my chosen mother wanted to go to Ireland. She was like, I have no idea what to do. I have this flight booked and all I know is I want to see this castle. And I was like, look at ChatGPT. Here's your itinerary. And she's like, I'll do every single thing on it. And she went to Ireland and she did every single thing and it was relevant and worked. And I was like, this is the greatest thing. And I was camping with a friend that sells centrifuges to hospitals. He's a PhD, goes around. He's one of the smartest guys I know. And I said, what's your biggest competition? And he told me, and I typed it in ChatGPT, and I was like, what are the differences between these two? Lean heavy on this and sell me this product over this product. And it gave me sales pitch. He's like, I went to college for 9 years to learn all of that. And I said, I went to college no years and learned it in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's literally the thing. You've all of a sudden just kind of given an argument of like, is college still relevant when we've got like these amazing tools that are just at our fingertips, and you can literally learn anything if you're curious enough. And I think,
correct. I think college and high school and school in general, especially here in the States, isn't always about the education that you get. It's about the person abilities, like interacting with things and learning how to problem solve in different ways that you can't when you're not in those institutions, when you're not in the schools. You can always tell someone that never has interacted with other people versus someone like me that's lived in a different city every year of their life or a different house. You're always meeting new people and doing different things.
Yeah.
But I think anybody can get something out of college, so I don't want to discourage that too much. But as far as education goes, they're going to have to learn how to use this to train and teach further. Because AI is only as good as its inputter or its dictator. So what I'm dictating and how I dictate my AI and my language learning models is a lot different than the way Jennie does. She's learning a lot from me, but I'm very clear and very direct and tell it how long to work on something or how fast or how detailed. Pretend that you're my PhD student and this is the research project you need to do, and show me all of your resource or your sources for this, and put it in a spreadsheet form for me. Make a pie chart out of that. I'm very direct with how I treat my AIs, and certain ones work different than others.
You need to be detailed.
My homies.
Yeah.
He's going to have a robot soon.
Exactly.
We were just messing around last night, so because X came out with the whole Imagine. Now you could put in any type of prompt, and so actually, me and Scarlett, my 6-year-old daughter, I was like, Scarlett, you're very creative. Tell me exactly what you want to see on a picture. And she's like, I want to see an elephant in a house chasing a cat with you, Mommy, Layla, and Wes watching us. And then it just made it in like seconds, and it was just like so much fun. And so we just kind of went down this whole rabbit hole of like, as you gave it more prompts, it comes back with better and better stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And these are, the freer versions. When you start to pay for the larger one, like Higgsfield AI, you're getting real likenesses of us doing podcasts, or we're not going to know from where we were a year ago to today with the likeness of us, like what's going to be tomorrow. We have no clue what we're going to be watching, how we're going to be watching it, and what's real and what's not. Because right now it's questionable. Like the bunny rabbits bouncing on the trampoline. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
No.
I was like, this is real. And then I saw it again and again, and I was like, wait a second, that's not real.
There's no way.
There was bunnies on a big trampoline outside in night vision, like on a Ring camera, and one accidentally bounced, and then another one bounced, and then like 8 of them were bouncing, and it was like the cutest video ever, and you're like, oh, that just made my day. And then your day gets ruined because it's AI.
Because it's not real. Yeah, that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Is that there?
You were just messing with us too, like animating some of our pictures.
I was.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's not real.
That video you put on your
Yes.
Instagram.
Yeah. I was
me
like,
in the
why
cowboy
did you
hat.
put that on your Instagram?
Yeah, with
I was like, well,
Yeah.
no shirt on.
I was like,
Yeah.
well, it's not real.
That was a great video.
Yeah.
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 Anyways,
But it's fun stuff. It's fun to be in my industry, which is events and live entertainment and sports. To be on the cutting edge is what I think in my world of AI. And then for Jennie in private lending, in her world in research of what's possible, what's not, and having every step laid out in minutes. If someone came and said, I'm in California and I want $175,000 for this loan, but I have fire damage or this, like Jennie can now do all of the research and get it checked with sources, and then go to a lawyer and say, here's $500 to check my research, make sure this is legit in California, because I'm going to lend $175K to somebody as a private lender, and get it done that way, rather than the older way, which is get lawyers to spend hours and hours and charge us $5,000-$6,000 to do the research themselves, or have their interns do research, and the probability of mistakes are a lot greater that way, rather than, today, even going to a doctor, rarely do you go to a doctor and say, I don't know what's wrong with me. I've done so much research, I have plantar fasciitis. What do I need to do? I mean, I've
That's true.
There's so much
That's true.
That's
to that.
someone who
It's a way to-
advocates for their own health. Most
Yes.
people still go to doctors and say,
Yeah, help
Yeah.
me.
help me.
Yeah. Here are
my
This
symptoms.
is what's going on.
Yeah.
What's happening? Yeah.
I
most
mean, I
people are
walked
just
into
waiting to
the
be
ER and
told.
said, I have a hernia, I need it fixed. And they were like, yeah, you got a hernia. Just like that. And I
they
did
listened
that
to you.
twice.
And they didn't want to do 50 more tests on top of that to make sure that you
I
didn't
mean,
have
when you
anything
go
going on at the
in
head.
So I have
That's
a
what
little
I
bit of a
found.
hard time though with some
Yeah.
of that, because
Go ahead.
we just went through like a phase. We just had a baby, and so I was doing a ton of research on a lot of stuff, right? And I always get tripped on like, who is dictating what the truth is on what AI is spitting back out to you? Because I feel like you can get different answers depending upon which AI you use and how you ask the question. And we had many times where like my initial question, I'd get one answer, but then I'd challenge it and be like, well, wait a minute. And then it would spit out something different.
Very good questions.
Yeah.
Because for a minute, in the AI sphere, we were all talking AI is going to be the new fact checker, and whoever's controlling AI is going to control the facts.
Right.
Same with Alexa. If you ask Alexa
Yeah.
what the weather is, you believe
Google.
her, or Google, or and you don't really know. Now with the new models that are coming out, you can see and watch them work. So ChatGPT agent, you can watch it work and find where it's getting its information from. So it's not like, oh, this is from Wikipedia or Reddit. This is actually from Harvard Law, or this is from whatever source. And you can watch them work, and they'll state where they found the information. So you can make your best call based off of it. But it's a
Gotcha.
very good question, because very easily with Gemini could just spit something out, and it can be very wrong, and you can say you're wrong, and it'll say, "Oh, you're right. I was wrong."
Yeah, yeah, it did that on the Southwest Rapid Rewards
Yeah.
card questions. Yeah.
Trying to find out, how to
how
do
many bonus points we would get, how to maximize, the likelihood of getting the companion pass, and
Yeah.
it just gave us mostly right information except wrong information about the companion pass. And Tristan said, "That's not right. That's not true." I'm like, but Gemini is saying it's this. He goes, "Well, you tell it that it's wrong and tell it this is what's right." So I did, and Gemini came back and said, "Oh, you're absolutely right." Like,
Whoa.
So do you know
I was
then, like,
wrong.
if somebody else asks that question, does it know to, like, correct itself for the next person who asks?
We're not quite there yet with
Okay.
it, but it's coming to where AI is going to start. That's kind of scary thing is AI is going to start relying on AI to find its answers.
Oh, yeah.
And talking to other AI and going back and forth. And Ex Machina is an amazing movie if y'all haven't watched it about AI, and it's a A24 movie that's just wonderful, well done, about like what happens with AI and as they progress and take over.
It's like it basically results in the Terminator, is what I
Yeah.
understand.
But at the end of the day,
knows?
you can't just solely rely on it. You have to know the prompts to put in, and you also have to know and how it's shaped coming back to some degree. It's very good proofreading. It's very
Yeah.
good with making a letter sound angry but professional, or
Yeah.
making a speech funny. I did my best friends. I married them 2 weeks ago now, and I wrote everything I knew about James and everything I knew about Kaylee. And I said, I want this to be about 12 minutes. I'm the minister for it. I want it to be funny, but I also want it to be, traditional and this and this and this. And I was very, very specific, and it came out very well.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
very,
that's so
very
cool.
well with
That's
the
a great
prompts.
use.
And
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
giving me ideas on how to use AI. I'm like super basic, just asking, how do I find this?
yeah, and it's not a Google. A lot of people think of it as an additional Google. It's
Yeah.
hard to think about. It's your assistant, and this is your assistant that has access to stuff that you don't at all times. And this will eventually replace all assistants and all coordinators, especially now for me with spreadsheets and stuff. I can say, chat, these are all my receipts. I need you to separate them from fuel, heavy equipment, ground protection, repairs, supplies, etc. Put it all in a spreadsheet for me. Email this person whenever you're done and tell me how much I'm getting reimbursed. And it'll do it all. It'll
Dude, that's so many hours of work
Yeah.
of somebody to do that, and just completely.
Because you can upload
eliminated.
photos now, and it can scan the photos and upload all of it, and it'll prioritize what you want it to prioritize. It'll put it in alphabetical order. I mean, that's a nightmare thinking about when you put everything in something and you're like, I just want this alphabetized. When you do that in Excel, it's like, what do you want alphabetized? This column, this row, this section, this diagonal. I'm like, oh my God, I'm done.
Yeah.
Can't do that. Now my agent can do it all for me.
That's awesome. So you talk about some of the space that you're in. So festivals, and you were big in NASCAR, right? In Chicago, having NASCAR here.
That's my current 9 to 5
Yeah.
is NASCAR. And I've produced the Chicago Street Race for 3 years.
No, I like that stuff. I'm okay with like spirit stuff. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, spiritual talk and
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
Jason has a doppelganger in this house, so.
Really?
Yeah, sorry. So basically what just
Yeah.
happened, one of our cameras literally just fell over, which
Face plant.
face planted. Has never happened before. Perhaps the cord is being pulled on too far. Maybe. There's always a reason, right?
If you put it in ChatGPT, it'll tell you why it fell.
and then Gemini will
Just
give you
just text it a
different answer.
picture and ask,
Yeah.
say, this
why?
fell.
Why did this fall? Yeah.
Here's a video.
Yep. Or there is some other spiritual thing that's happening in this house, because we've seen a couple things that have happened where
Really?
we've had So we've had people stay with us, and you want to tell the story because. So anyways, people have stayed
I
with
wasn't
us.
expecting to go down this road, but we can if you
People have
want to.
stayed with us, and they're like, Jason, I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw that you had your head, poking through the door. I
Yeah,
was
here,
like,
I'll tell the story.
Okay, yeah, you tell it.
Yeah, so we have family staying with us, and I was down here. It was early. It was like 6 a.m. And a family member comes down, and she's like, "Gosh, you guys were up a lot last night." And I was like, "Really? Like, who was up?" And she's like, "Yeah, like something about Jason. Jason came in and had the light on, and he poked his head in, and then closed the door. And I thought you guys were having a rough night with the kids." And I was like, "We had a great night with the kids. I got a full night's sleep. I'm down here drinking coffee." I was like, "I don't remember that happening. It's really weird." So then Jason comes down like an hour later, and I was like, "Were you up with the kids last night? Like, I didn't hear that. Is everything okay?" And he's like, "No." And the person's like, "Yeah, you were. I saw you. The light was on. You had your head in my door, and then you walked downstairs." And we're all looking at her like, "I don't think that happened." So that was one. And then another person has had, they were staying down here and saw him walk through the kitchen into the office. And then they were talking to the other family member. I was like, "Has Jason gone to bed yet, or is he still working?" And they're like, Jason's not down here. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he just walked by."
Separate groups of people at separate times.
Separate times, yes. Different
Both thought
person.
they've seen Jason.
Both
Yeah.
saying,
And
"It's
then
me."
I actually had it happen.
You did?
Yes, you remember this. I was upstairs, and we had family here again, and I was in the bathroom in our master, and you like walked by into the closet, and so I started talking to you, and just blah 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 blah, talking, and I come out. I'm like, "Why aren't you answering me?" And I look down the hallway, they're in the closet. I'm like, "Jason?
Oh my God.
Jason, where are you?" And he was downstairs the whole time.
This is so cool.
Okay, I don't know.
So you
Yeah.
think, all right, so you think these are real things, huh?
And you've never sleptwalked in your life? That
No,
you know of?
no,
yeah.
I was always, I was fast asleep.
Well, and
for
my
sure.
experience was during the day. Like it
Yeah,
was.
that's odd.
Yeah, like it was not at night. Like
Was I home?
yeah,
I must have been.
Yeah, you were home. I was. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Well, next time you have friends over, you should wear a bell. See what happens. If you get out of bed, it's like you got a bell on, and everyone
jingle,
knows
jingle.
you're coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, jiggle, jiggle.
Yeah, and then we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'm that sneaky, though,
No.
I'm certainly not getting out of bed and, like, poking my head in the guest room, making sure that they're sleeping okay. Like,
Yeah.
how weird is that?
Scoping things
In the
out.
middle of the night, watching you sleep. Yeah, what a creepy thing.
Peekaboo.
Yeah.
You guys good in here? Just making sure you need anything?
I don't know.
I grew up in
Weird
San
things.
Antonio, and we had ghost tracks. So if anyone's familiar with San Antonio, a lot happened there in the Mexican-American War in Texas and all that. But there's train tracks that if you put your car on the tracks and you put baby powder on the trunk,
Yes.
the car will push
I've
itself
heard
up
of this,
the
yeah.
hill when you put it in neutral. And then when the car stops, you can go up to the trunk and see all the little kid fingerprints of the baby ghosts that push you to safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard about this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ghost tracks.
Cool. That's interesting.
We could go next time we're there.
Oh, all right.
There you
But
go.
I'm not leaving the car on the track. Just for the record.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not that big of a risk taker. My appetite for risk is like here, Like if this is the top and this is the bottom, I'm like right here.
Right in the middle now.
Yeah.
I'm like the
Yeah.
walk into a casino with $250 and when I spend it, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my risk.
Yeah.
Good self-control.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good self-control. Yeah.
All right, we were talking about NASCAR, but so.
Yeah, sorry
Yeah,
about that.
NASCAR. I work for NASCAR. I've been with NASCAR officially a year and a half. I produced the race as an independent contractor in 2023 and helped design it. And after that, they were like, "You're coming on board full time." And I said, "You can't pay me enough to move up to Chicago because I'm from the South." And I moved 6 days later after that.
Yes, we can.
And I really needed a change from what I was doing. And I lived the gig life for many years. Since 2001, I was in, I've never lived in the same house for more than 3 years. That was only once. I've lived in a new house or apartment every year for 40 years now, since I was born.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm a pro mover. I have no qualms about moving.
Whoa.
So when Jennie and I decided when we were gonna cohabitate, I was like, I'll just move in with you. It's easy for me.
Yeah.
It was between me moving in with him moving in with me, or us moving into some other place together. And ultimately, I mean, we weighed the pros and cons, and I made spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't have to make the spreadsheet.
We didn't have AI back then.
Yeah.
But it was just, for me, I don't like moving. So
I
he said I'll move in.
I came up, and really, I've always loved Chicago. And every time I've been doing events here since 2004. Every summer I would be here. I'm like, don't fall for it. It's fake. Don't fall for the weather. It's fake. I've always loved Chicago.
Yeah, so true.
And I just always lean on this May 11th. I was here. It was snowing. And I was like, it's May.
Yeah.
It's snowing.
Yep.
It's all fake. I know it's fake. And here I am. And, 2 years later, I'm still living here. But I love what I do because NASCAR has been a company 77 years, since 1948. And I grew up, my godfather was a NASCAR fan. I was born in Florida, and it's very odd being Hispanic and liking NASCAR. But because of my godfather, I really fell in love with it at a young age. And it's all about the drivers in NASCAR. It's not really about the cars. The cars are the cars that you drive, your daily drivers. That's the idea behind it, even though that they all have fancy engines now. And that, going into what I do for NASCAR, I can't really be held captive to a 9-to-5 corporate job. Like my brain would go crazy. But here in Chicago, we're racing outside of a track for the first time. It was year 75. It was our first year here at the street race. Mm-hmm. So the chaos that ensues with doing a race in downtown Chicago, or downtown anywhere, was the chaos that I needed and that I thrive on.
Wow. Yeah.
Did you do the first year?
I did.
You did? Okay.
I did.
Wow.
Whose idea was this? Do you know?
A guy who I've worked with a long time, kind of were the brainchild of it. My current boss designed a race in Chicago for COVID for iRacing, and everyone loved it. All the drivers loved it. It was like racing through the city. It was like, can this actually happen? And we did. I didn't think it was going to happen.
So how much planning did you know in advance for that first race?
How much time
did
you have to make it happen?
Or was it 2 years?
May of 22 was the inception. I came on board October of 22, and we raced 4th of July weekend.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, wow.
2023.
23.
Less than a year, yeah.
Whoa.
Which is normal.
Yeah.
Before in producing events, I mean, first year events are always tough. You plan for a lot longer.
Yeah.
This isn't just an event. This is a race. This is a NASCAR race with competition, scoring and timing and track walls and fence. That's first in NASCAR. Mm-hmm. So what we were trying to do was a race first in downtown, but then add the city to it, add a festival on top of it. And that's what we did and what we created. And it's just gotten better and better after the 3 years. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, the tough thing in Chicago is no one cares. No one cares until it gets in your way. It's like they don't care about the cars that are driving. They don't care about the bikes that are in their way. As long as it's not in their way, no one cares in the city. So no one knew that we were building a race downtown. And it's like, wait a second, there's a NASCAR race downtown. Some were like, this is cool. Some were like, get out of my city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no denying the second you hear a car go by and you're on Columbus or Lakeshore Drive or on Michigan and watching a stock car go 140 miles an hour.
Yeah, so that was my question, like Speedway. So I grew up watching NASCAR. I have not really paid any attention in my adult life, I'll be perfectly honest with you, but pretty familiar with it. So they're actually going at that speed in the city, on the city streets. Yep. And are you laying any different track down, or are they going that speed on crappy Chicago streets?
Wow.
I mean, I hit potholes going 40 and I'm really ticked off, so.
Yeah.
We make sure that there aren't any real potholes that can damage the tires of the cars.
Yeah.
And we weld all of the 96 manhole covers that are down so that they don't get sucked
Okay.
up because of
Yeah.
the up force from the cars. But the beauty is racing on the streets.
Yeah.
Our competitors, I won't say their name, pave everything. They have very particular rules and regulations. Like we didn't want to come in and disrupt the city. We want to impact the city the least, do something really awesome to showcase the city and race on it. And the drivers love it. Like I love it. Everybody loves it. It looks great on TV. Chicago looks amazing on it. It's really, really fun to see. And there's really nothing like being at Columbus at Buckingham Fountain and just like looking at the skyline and the Sears Tower
Yeah,
and
it's
Yeah.
wild.
having a NASCAR go by you at
It's a great
Yeah,
event.
you would just,
Yeah.
you'd never imagine that.
Yeah,
Yeah, when they
that's
first announced
wild.
it, I was like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
And for me, reimagining something that I've seen for 15 years with Lollapalooza and how we set up Lollapalooza or how they set it up, and like the entrance being different and the tents being different and everything just being in different spots and getting out of my head of restrooms go here. It's like, wait a second, I'm not building Lolla, I'm building something else. I can put restrooms wherever I want. I can put my check-in tent over here. I can do this. And really reimagining what the park is was really fun.
Was the city receptive to having NASCAR come here? Or did they need a little convincing or?
NASCAR really put a lot of effort into helping the city and doing a lot of community outreach, far more than I've ever done with any other company I've been with in any given city, anywhere around the world. So it's been really incredible to see that and kind of sharing what we do with Jennie. She's like, why don't you advertise that? And it's like, that's not what we're here for. It's just part of it. At the end of the day, we want a superior racing product for everyone to see. And we want to showcase the city that we're in and help our community.
Are there other cities that are doing NASCAR races?
We just announced San Diego. So
Oh,
San Diego
Yeah,
will be next.
cool.
no longer in Chicago anymore, right?
We're skipping
Oh, you're
1
skipping
year.
1 year. So
Oh.
it's only been in Chicago so far.
Yeah, correct.
Wow, that's cool. San Diego will be really cool though too.
Yeah.
That's on a
And I lived there
military
for
base,
8
right?
years.
Better
too.
weather.
on
Probably
a
better
naval-
streets
It's on
too,
a-
right?
it's
On a naval base.
base.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
The
Yeah.
streets are the fun part because if you take a turn with the same compound of asphalt at 80 miles an hour that you know from one city to the next, like that's not fun. Like if you're coming into a corner that's Balbo and Columbus and you know there's a lot of bumps there and you got to take a certain line because of certain something, that's fun. That makes it better racing, for the viewers. For me.
Did you send
Yeah.
them down Lower Whacker at all?
No. No.
They never would have come back.
I think our
man,
original
we could find their
idea
way
was to send them to Lower Randolph to get a little bit of that idea. I think I heard some rumblings that was in the original plans, but the racing product itself of trying to see that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they certainly wouldn't have come back. Everybody gets lost on Lower Whacker.
Oh my gosh. I think I
Yeah.
made it
Can you
out of there
imagine the
once.
echo too? Be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
It would
yeah,
have been
the
so
sound.
Yeah,
oh,
like,
insanely loud. Insanely
That
loud.
was some of the funnest things that I learned coming into this was before we started, you have the Art Institute right there. You have Columbia College right there. We didn't know the effect of 40 cars at 110 decibels rumbling down Michigan, what it would have for a Van Gogh that's 200 yards away on the wall. So we went to different tracks and put little seismographs into the ground in different distances and really measured like what these cars would do and how far and
That's
kind of
interesting.
testing what would happen. There's a lot of like statues there that are already crumbling. It's like, are we going to make these crumble more? Do we
Oh.
have to
Yeah.
reinforce anything? Interesting things you don't
just
really
people's
think
windows.
about. Yeah, windows, exactly.
For sure. Yeah. So now you guys moved in together, but Jennie, do you still midterm rental your apartment?
I'm the midterm rental.
I know.
He's my midterm renter.
I subsidized it.
No, the last midterm renter we had was November 2024, and he technically moved in December 2024.
Yeah.
But I made it through 3 midterm rentals.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We were dating while I still had midterm renters and kind of splitting time between my apartment and his apartment. And so all of the people that were living with me, knew him, and everybody got along. I mean, we were all like family.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that is no longer...
That was one of the coolest things that you did, because you would MTR your own rental apartment, and you lived in a beautiful place with a beautiful view for pretty cheap when you do it from that perspective, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. I was sitting on the couch one night, I think it was June of 2022, and I was thinking about what I was spending, because the thing is, I didn't really want to live there alone. I had gone through a breakup the prior December, thinking that I didn't know I was going through a breakup. We were supposed to leave the building together and go move in together to another apartment, and so I didn't renew the lease in the older apartment, which was in the same building. And then I found out, oh no, we're not actually moving in together somewhere else. I have to stay here, so I needed to find another apartment in the building. And the one I found was the identical apartment, 9 floors up, and my friends were renting that apartment and looking for a subleaser because they found a house to buy. And I said, well, this is just easy. It's the same apartment, but 9 floors higher. I know the layout. My stuff will just, go from here to there. It's more than I want to spend, but I'll do it for now. So I did that. December, January, February, March, April, May, and then around May, June was when I just had this epiphany, okay, I love it here. I want to stay here. I'm comfortable here. It's my first time really living alone. I don't want too many changes, but it's really expensive. And then I thought, I don't have to live here alone. I can have somebody live here. But I didn't want a long-term renter. I didn't want a traditional roommate because I didn't want to share the apartment fully with someone. I wanted them to just be my guest. So I still made the rules and I still controlled things pretty much. And that's why I decided to do the furnished rental instead of just, renting out the room and the bathroom and splitting everything down the middle and them having equal control. And then furnished the room, rented it out.
It works out way better that way anyways, because then you'll have a black couch and a white this and a glass this. And
Yeah.
you never know whose is what. And the furnished rental actually brings quite a bit more money than if you were to give them the leeway to bring their own stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
as you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got long-term rentals
Yeah.
and midterm furnished, so you know.
Yeah. So can you kind of walk through the numbers on that? So what did you pay for rent, and what would somebody pay you for their stay?
So I was paying about $3,500 a month for a 2-bed, 2-bath, and plus a utility package with the building and electric. So I would make anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 a month from my midterm renters for the bedroom and bathroom.
Wow.
Depending on the
that's
season,
great.
depending on how they booked. If it was Airbnb or Furnished Finder. Yeah.
How long was your longest renter?
I think it was Manny. I think he stayed 6 or 7 months.
Oh, wow.
He was supposed to be there for 3 months, and then he extended another 3 months. Yeah, 6 months, six or 7.
Was it ever odd, as you think about, oh, how do I screen this guy? Or, how do I know that we're going to be a good fit? Or, you said that was a male, right?
She's the ultimate underwriter.
Oh, right. That's right. We've talked about
I mean, I did a phone call and a video chat with every prospective guest, no matter how they were booking. Because typically with Airbnb, they just book it through the site, and then you take the reservation and, they just go or come. But I wanted to meet them and make sure that they were going to be the right fit and vice versa. So we did video chats, and I mean, everybody seemed, fine. You spend 20, 30 minutes on a video call with people, and you know what to ask them, and you listen to how they answer and the way that they look at you or don't look at you. And I mean, there were plenty of people that I didn't want to live with me, And
Oh, so you would actually say, sorry, I don't.
Or for one reason or another, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to stay, or I just knew they weren't the right fit. And then, maybe a week went by, maybe they found another place anyway. And I'm like, great, because I didn't want them anyway.
Really? Yeah.
What?
I'm the opposite. I would just be like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh no, as a woman you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's easier to
It
just
is a
be a
little
man and
different,
be like,
yeah.
I'll figure this out.
Yeah, it's definitely a man thing.
Yeah.
And the safety is the most important thing, and so that's first and foremost. And then after that, it's like a personality match. But yeah, the only kind of iffy person I had there, not safety wise, but just like personality wise, was my second guest who came for a month, and we were just completely different. You know, we didn't have a single thing in common, and we had maybe one or two conversations the whole time, and he was nice, you know, and he paid the rent and all that, but I couldn't have seen that lasting longer than a month. Whereas some people I had, I just want them to stay forever.
Yeah.
So what was the most interesting was your diet versus their diets.
Oh yeah, we weren't going to get
that's
into
that's
this.
a big
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that's
We weren't
totally a
gonna
big
get
thing.
into this.
So like how did you manage, coming home to that smell or
There was one person that stayed with me in 2.5 years that cooked their own food.
Everybody else
Wow.
didn't.
Well, the last guest we had for a month, she cooked all the time. Everybody else just basically got takeout or delivery. Or
Every
they were
night? Wow.
Well, they're in Chicago.
pretty
I mean,
much-
I guess, yeah.
A lot of them were travel medical professionals, and so they're working
Sure.
long
That's true.
hours. A lot of times they get fed on site, like actually at the hospital or the university, depending on what they're doing. Yeah. It
So was that
amazing.
person on a carnivore diet?
I mean, she was an omnivore, but she didn't cook a lot of that type of food. Like whenever we were there, it was usually, I don't know, pasta, maybe fish once in a while,
Broccoli. Okay.
vegetables. She was from Belgium too, so like she's not eating the crap that we're eating here as Americans. She had a pretty kind of clean, whole food based diet.
Okay.
Maybe some chicken, whatever.
I was
but-
thinking maybe the way you said that it was going to be somebody
No.
making like all beef
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
in your
I
kitchen.
never had anyone
you have a
like
half a cow just in the fridge, just
Never
Yeah.
had
tear you
anyone
off a
like that.
chunk.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because I feel like I drew that to me. Like I put out in the universe what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be there and what I didn't want. And I was willing to make some concessions, right? Because I realized everybody's different. But yeah, one person in the 2.5 years made their own meals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Manny had ramen every once in a while.
But from a container.
Yeah.
He mostly got takeout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I taught him to cook hard-boiled eggs.
Oh.
I think he did it once or twice, yeah.
So what is your diet?
My diet is mainly whole food plant-based. So little to no added oils, mostly plant foods. I do eat honey. I'll eat eggs occasionally, but mostly vegan. Yeah, and as close to the whole food source as possible.
How many eggs have you had this year?
I don't know. Not a lot. Probably 10, 12.
One?
No, I had more at my dad's house. Yeah, when I was in Florida a few months ago, I made egg salad. I love eggs. I try to buy pasture-raised eggs.
Yeah. So because eggs doesn't fit into the vegan category, right? Yeah. No.
No.
I see.
So, yeah.
That's why she's whole foods, plant-based. I'm staunch vegan.
Staunch. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So yeah, that's a good compatibility between you two.
yes, one of those natural things that we were aligned on when we first met. I found out he was vegan through his Instagram profile, and then I don't know, after knowing each other a few weeks on the pickleball court, we had a conversation about something, and I told him I was mostly plant-based, and he was like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, opened my eyes.
Yeah.
As a larger male in a male-dominated pickleball court world, and being the feminist that I am, I was always very respectful and always had blinders on and just, help every and any woman that's out on the courts that may be getting harassed or anything. So I always had, my blinders on. And when Jennie was like, I'm mostly plant-based, I was like, oh, hey. Those blinders
Jennie, was that
went
like your
away.
pickup line? Since you knew he was vegan, were you like, oh, I'm going to tell him?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't. I didn't really. I didn't think anything was like. I liked him as a person.
I caught her off guard.
Let's just put it that way. I
Yeah.
liked him as a person. We knew each other on pickleball. We played pickleball together here and there, and I thought he was a wonderful, wonderful human. But I wasn't really thinking about anything romantic with him until he invited me to go to dinner, and even at dinner I was like, this is nice, this is fun, but there's nothing romantic here. And then we had a second date, and I felt the same way. I'm like, there's it was a fun bike ride, and we had great conversation. You know, I was open, but I and then he kissed me on the cheek goodnight that night, and I was like, oh, I like that. It was the kiss on the cheek, and then I thought, maybe.
Wait, so it was the third? It was the third
It
night?
was the second date.
Oh, second
right? It was
date.
the bike night.
Mm-hmm.
Then he kissed me on the cheek, yeah. And I thought that was really nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Play it slow. a little
Very
bit.
slow. It was the
Nice.
slowest I've ever gone in my life with dating.
It's nice.
Yeah.
That's how we did it too.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I didn't have any confidence. So I had to play it slow.
Yeah, Jason and I, we went on walks on campus. We were still in college, and we would like meet up at night after we had both been out with our friends, and we would just go on walks throughout campus, and we talked for several months before you finally worked up the courage to ask me to formal.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, by the way, I'm going to Europe with a football team for like 10 days, so I probably won't be able to talk to you. And I'm like, all right, well, this is over. And then he called me from Europe, and then I was like, oh, this guy must really like me.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
See, the slow play.
Yeah.
Slow play works.
Yeah,
It's
it
a-
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't start dating officially till July, so it was
Yeah.
several months.
I did the same thing. I said, I'm about to do this NASCAR race, and I may be a little bit slow to respond, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean I'm not interested.
Yeah.
He did. He
good.
messaged me that on Instagram, and I was like, who is this guy?
And then she
Yeah,
said I was the
NASCAR
most
was in
responsive
Chicago?
out of
Oh, I knew the
anyone.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this person that says these things? Because people don't
Yeah.
communicate like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, especially not men. So it
A
was
man-
very, very unique.
A
Yeah.
man raised by many women
Yes, I know.
and
You're
two
very
sisters.
different. You're very unique.
So are you. Con gusto.
What does that mean?
With pleasure.
With pleasure.
With pleasure. Nice.
That's what they say in Colombia and Medellin, everywhere.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Any
awesome.
interaction is con gusto
Mhm.
in Colombia.
So Jenny, you actually grew up in Knoxville, right?
New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey.
Yeah, I grew up-
But you have okay. What's your connection to Knoxville again?
I lived there for
okay.
10 years.
You lived there for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tristan was also
Nashville.
Nashville. Okay,
For
gotcha.
8 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you still have the midterm rentals going on in Knoxville too?
I have the one.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
the one. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
I
Yeah.
bought those
Sold
other
the
two.
other
and
ones,
sold those
yeah.
other ones. And I still have the one. And actually, I'm just getting my first ever insurance housing booking.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that's exciting.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't charge a premium, sadly, but it's
Kinda you
it's,
did. Because they have animals. So you get a
Yeah, but
built-in
that's-
premium.
I
Yeah.
would charge the same anyway.
Yeah.
You know, but
Are they paying you up front?
I think so. But it's only a month and a half to start with the option to renew.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's just exciting because, you know, I've been reaching out to these temporary
Yeah, that's right.
housing
Yeah.
companies for so long and trying to get these types of bookings, and nothing was a good fit up until this one. They actually contacted me on Airbnb. I think the daughter of the family contacted me, and she said, oh my gosh, your property's perfect. It's right near us. Our house was flooded. We need a place to stay. Insurance is paying. Someone's going to reach out to you. I was like, great. Then she said, I have 5 dogs and 4 kids.
Oh my gosh. 5 dogs, 4 kids.
Five
Holy
dogs. It was
Wow.
only 2 kids. I was exaggerating
Okay.
that, but 5 dogs. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now it's really only 3 dogs. We worked the stories out. I got clarity on who's going to be in the house. It's going to be 2 adults, 2 foster children, and 3 dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited. It's been going well. It's a great property. I have had to do some short-term rental in there, kind of weaved in during the longer vacancies between the midterm renters, which is not ideal. I really don't like doing short-term, although I've had some great guests. I just don't like the constant turnover and the constant just me with I wouldn't say I suffer from anxiety, but I'm a little bit of just a naturally anxious person. And I really want people to be happy, and I want to be there for people. And so the more guests I have, and the more turnover, and the more cleanings, and the more potential repairs, and the more requests, I'm like, oh, wait, did they get in? Did they check in? Oh, they're late. Why didn't they use the door code now? Where are they? Are they even alive? You know, and then I worry about all the other things that can happen when they're there. And so it's not ideal, but it fills the gap. You know, I don't want the vacancy. So it's a good way to make a little extra money between the longer term tenants.
Yeah. Is there like because do you need a short-term license in Knoxville for that? Like how they do it you do? Oh,
No.
You do? Okay. Somehow you're able to get around that, so that's cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get around it.
Really?
And I'm not, I mean, there are a lot of people that are operating homes as short-term rentals and they don't even own the home, so it's not their primary residence. So I'm not trying to make a habit out of it.
That's why you only do long-term rentals.
Midterm, 30 plus
Midterm.
days. Yep.
Yeah, 30 plus days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the record.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I've been noticing too. So we now have 2 midterm rentals because the one that Brian and I own together, Brian DeSimone, we converted our garden unit into a midterm. It's actually going quite well.
Good.
And but we based it off of the original one that we turned into a midterm. And you know, my first year, I was like, boy, you know, somebody moved out, and then I had somebody move in like the next day, and that happened like 4 times in a row. I was like, why is this happening like so perfectly? And then I finally got to a point where, you know, I had all this momentum, and then I had a guy who was going to be moving out like maybe the first week of January. I was like, that's no problem. I'll be able to get somebody. And then I didn't get somebody, and for like a whole nother like 40 days. Like it was a long vacancy. And so anyways, I'm starting to see a little bit more of that. And so I had to I pulled the price down, and I don't know, I guess you just kind of have to get comfortable with some of the vacancy stuff. But I thought about like what you said, which was maybe put in the short-term stuff. But I guess it's just the license requirement and knowing the loophole around that. So
if you can get a registration for Chicago, that would be great. Seasonality is a big thing, especially in colder climates like Chicago. Like December, January, February is definitely harder to fill than other times of the year. And there's also just been a general slowdown in certain demographics. I notice with like the travel medical professionals, they're spending less, and there's also less of them. From what I can tell. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's that the travel contracts have gotten less desirable, or if they're now paying their home staff better so they don't have to travel to get paid more. But something's definitely changed because I used to get a lot more travel medical professionals in my property in Knoxville. And now it's probably 50% of what I used to get. So
yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, you bring up a good point because when I remember you first going after it and kind of educating everyone of like, you know, the type of renter that's going to be here, a lot of them was, you know, it's a traveling medical professional. And the funny thing is I think I've had maybe one. I've had one, and I probably had 15 guests over the course of the time. And I'm like, well, none of these were travel nurses, but I also wasn't near a hospital. Like, I wasn't that close.
Right.
But what I found was one was a construction worker, one was flight attendants, one was grandma and grandpa from Texas visiting their grandkids.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a family that's in there right now from another state. Yeah, so it's just like, you know, and then I also had like someone, hey, I get a chance to just go work anywhere I want to. I'm going to go work in Chicago for the summer.
The digital nomad.
Yeah, that's what you call it.
Yeah, you get all kinds. Yeah.
That's you. You're a digital nomad.
Am I?
Well, you can be if you wanted to be. You have properties in 3 states. You don't have to be in them.
Oh, yeah, because you have one in Florida?
2 properties in Jacksonville. They're long-term rentals. Yeah, they're managed professionally by a local management company down there, and they have long-term guests, tenants. So I say guests, but they're tenants. They've lived there for 3 years in each of those homes, and they just renewed for 3 more years.
Oh, that's great.
It's great, except that the rents in Jacksonville do not go up much.
Really?
But I'm still betting on Jacksonville. A lot is happening now. They've reached some new milestones, and I'm in it for the long haul.
So do you like the whole concept of having a management company manage these out-of-state rentals for you? And
Yes and no. There's a benefit to it because it's completely passive for me. It's completely hands-off. I don't have to worry about anything except the money. If something goes wrong and then they just send me this statement at the end of the month and I look at the charge, what is that for? Why did that even happen? And but other than that, it's really nice to just be passive. But I don't like paying 10%, for management, especially when nothing goes wrong and they're just standing around and they're not even doing an annual or biannual or a quarterly inspection on the home.
They're
to
not
make
as
sure
proactive as you want.
They're not as proactive as I would like. I think most management companies are probably the same. It's nothing against them, but I just think that whole, way of operating. So that irks me because I'm very frugal. And I don't like spending money that I know I don't have to spend. If there's something that I really want and I see the value in it, I will spend the money. I'm not cheap, but I'm just frugal. And so, it has its pros and cons. I thought about doing, firing the management company, firing for lack of a better word, and turning them into midterm rentals because there are a lot of people. Jacksonville is like one of the most popular cities in the country for corporate relocations. Plus they have the military bases there. And I thought, I could probably do really well with the midterm furnished rental. So I started looking into some local resources, just, handymen, general contractors, people that I could go to if I needed help with things.
Yeah.
And I didn't really devote enough time to it, and it didn't really establish the connection that I needed to feel comfortable with doing the whole conversion. So I just let them renew, and so that's that for now.
so you have, let's see, 6 rentals?
Yeah,
Right on.
6.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. So like, and that's like luxury rental. Very impressive building. So do you mind just like, I know you kind of touched on it from the beginning. It was kind of a pain point for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now that you've turned it into a rental, is it still the pain point or like what?
Oh yeah, that was just the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the beginning. I mean, now that all the units have been lived in for more than a year, I think we're definitely past the hump. A lot of things go wrong in new construction, usually in that first year. Just little minor things, but it could be 100 things because someone's living in the property for the first time. And the things are being used for the first time. So I got really lucky with great tenants, and I'm so thankful for that. And I think the building is beautiful, and I don't regret anything, but I would do a lot of things differently. And literally, it was just a couple months ago that I started to feel I could breathe. Because I wasn't getting a text message from my tenants saying, what about this? Something's wrong with this. How about this? Something happened. It was just a couple months ago.
Were they like 911 emergency calls? Like,
No.
Or
one was last September, but no, the rest were. And I mean, our tenants they're great. They're really, really wonderful people, and they try not to make big things out of not so big things. But if I get a text that something's not right, I'm just worried about it. And then in my head, it's like, oh, it's another thing. It's another thing. It's another thing. Like, I can't even tell you. I can tell you because it's all in ClickUp. It's in my task management software, all the things that have gone wrong in the last 2 years with this property. But
In the past year, you've learned so much about so many random things with housing, though, of pot fillers versus gates and how to fix a key that doesn't turn well. You've done a really great job with learning it all.
thanks.
are there some like high level?
I'm thankful for you. He's helped a lot.
Are there some like high level things that you've kind of like that you can pinpoint on that? Like on the pot filler thing, would you recommend them? No.
I mean, for your own home, if you want a pot filler, that's fine. But like if you're doing a spec property or a rental property, absolutely not.
What's going on there? It's
it's just one more plumbing fixture to break,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's a very movable plumbing fixture, right? It's not like a tub that just sits there, right? It's this thing that's going like this constantly, you know, so like the more moving parts you have, the more likely things can break.
And it's a rental too. So even if I had a pot filler, we cook 98% of our meals. I don't know if I would ever use it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like in my head, that's just the possibility of water splashing all over my cooking is too much for me. I'd rather just go to the sink.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. I mean, we built Sheffield to sell them as condos, luxury condos, you know. So I think for a luxury condo buyer, you know, that was a nice little feature. But I still don't think it was necessary. It's just it's a design decision that I wouldn't do again,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Anything else that you kind of, from that project that you were like, I don't think I would do that again?
Yeah, recessed baseboards.
Oh.
That was a huge time suck from our schedule. I mean, we got probably months behind between recessed baseboards and drywall, and like the whole thing was like we wanted to sell, but because everything got so delayed and we had a huge construction loan, I couldn't wait to sell anymore. I had to make a change, and that's why I pivoted and decided to turn them into luxury rentals, and I did a refinance and, you know, turned it into rentals and got out of the construction loan into a different type of loan that, you know, is much less per month and is being, you know, covered by the rental income. I couldn't wait any longer. But that was one thing that I would say is also very custom. You know, in your own home, fine, but not in a spec project. Completely unnecessary.
And what about your doors?
What about the doors?
Your sliding doors in that European company?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, your window and door supplier. That was oh my gosh.
Sorry.
No, that's probably the biggest headache, because we did have an actual 911 almost emergency with one of the sliding glass doors that fell in.
Whoa.
And actually, if the tenant wasn't 6'5" and 220 pounds, probably would have crushed whoever was there.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah, those doors are really heavy.
They are, and they have soundproof glass, so they're super, super, super thick. And my supplier, I would recommend for your windows and doors and any of your suppliers just to keep it as close to home as possible. You know, like get your products. Granted, a lot of things come from overseas. We know this, but your main connection point here should be someone like that has a storefront with the products and is your direct contact through to that other country or the main supplier outside of the country, because the replacement parts for the doors and windows are really difficult to source, and they take a long time to come in, and to get someone to fix them if your supplier goes MIA, like which my vendor did, is another thing. So yeah, huge pain point.
Yeah, everything was so custom, like proprietary to this brand. There was nothing we can source or supply ourselves or fabricate. With this same property with Sheffield, I'm getting a friend in Austin to CNC a bracket so that we can put a handrail back on properly, because it's so custom and how it was done. We just can't buy the part that's needed.
The length bracket just doesn't exist.
It's
So we have to
just
add like an extender onto it it's.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
It sounds so ridiculous.
Oh, interesting.
Really. Yeah.
And then she'll send me a picture. I'm like, why did the handyman do that? That is the worst thing they can do. And then I'm like, then I'll look at it and be like, oh, there's really nothing else he could have
Could have
done.
done because of the way it was
Like-
originally installed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Then I go back to, why was it built this
Why was it
way?
built this
Yeah.
way? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're working on selling the condos. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting close.
Yep.
Yeah, because one of your... Yeah, you've got one of them under contract, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Which is a whole process I had no idea. I have somewhat of a real estate part of my life.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of it.
You're a former agent?
Former agent
Ah.
and loan officer.
Wow.
And the idea, the Chicago way of things is just so crazy of how you have to get the pins and split it up. And, you know, I come from the Wild West where you can do whatever you want with the property you own, but it's a lot different here.
Yeah.
Oh, splitting the pins into condos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And setting up the HOAs and everything. Just that property alone is just very unique to Chicago. Being
Yeah, I
a
was gonna
duplex
ask
down.
that. So it was built to be sold as individual condo units, not as an entire building.
Right.
Did you, when you built, set up an HOA? Is that an actual requirement to have?
We didn't set up the HOA because we
Okay.
never got any of the units under contract for sale.
Right,
So
okay, 'cause
I
it's
always want to
rentals.
wait until the last minute to set up the HOA, until we actually have a unit under contract. Because otherwise, it's just spending unnecessary money, like funding the account, you know, and creating the reserves, and starting the association costs money. So once I turned it into rentals, I didn't need to go through that process.
But
Yeah.
you kept your own reserves for, in my eyes, it's a mock HOA. Like you are the HOA.
Right.
Right.
From the rentals perspective, I always just think it's so fascinating that you were able to get very good, I mean, I thought very good rents for these units. And actually, it didn't take that long once you did kind of convert them into rentals, right?
Right.
Yeah, which
Right.
was so there is a market because of the location for that sizable of, you know, a rent that you are collecting on that.
Yeah. Yeah, we got good rents. We rented them fairly quickly. It was a good season. I mean, it was like early spring, you know, late winter, early spring. And I think the sizes of the units help, because finding a condo that lives like a home that's over 3,000 square feet with 4 bedrooms is tough for people to find in the rental category. So I was one of the only places like that. Even though the 2-bed, 2-bath rented first,
Yeah.
it was, you know, the other ones came quickly thereafter. So I think having that distinguishing factor, or those distinguishing factors, really helped to get those prices. You know, it was almost like there was no true comp. You know, although the pricing made sense if you compare it to what else was out there, and you know, you figured, well, I've got 4 bedrooms, this had 3, I've got 3,000 square feet, this had 2,100, so it should be this price. But there wasn't a comp. But because I had those features, you know, people were willing to pay the extra price.
Right, and so it's interesting because when you went from the sale perspective, they didn't go as quick, right? And obviously you had to convert it into rentals, but it wasn't the same timeline, right? It was different, wasn't it?
Like trying to sell took much longer.
Yeah, how
than
long
just
were you on the market for?
Yeah,
from
we
the
went on the
beginning?
market in early October, and then it was around early December that I put them up for rent, because we didn't have an offer on any of the units. And then I rented the first unit like within the first week, I think, or week and a half.
Yeah.
And then after that, they just came all
And the
rented
same
within
tenants
January.
are there, right?
Well, not Unit 1. Unit 1 we had for 1 year, and they moved to West Loop. But our Unit 2 and Unit 3 tenants are the same. Yeah, they rented very quickly.
Yeah, so that's the interesting part of that building there, is that, well, you were selling kind of in the, you know, in the slow season.
Yeah.
But then, and then as soon as you converted it over into rentals, it happened to be into starting the spring market and starting the rental season, and you were able to do it really quickly. So
Yes, and I sometimes think if I had just been able to wait a little longer until January or February, people would have been more used to the interest rates, because they were higher around that time, but they would have seen, okay, look, interest rates aren't going anywhere. This is what it is. Let's pull the trigger now. Plus, it would have been early spring market, but I didn't want to take the chance. The monthly payment on our loan was so high.
yeah,
And I was just tired of paying it and
Yeah.
not having any income.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I think you made a great move, because obviously that's what it comes down to, is that you got to find a solution. You know, you try it for a certain amount of time, but understanding the real estate cycle and the market, you know, January does kind of start a whole new level coming out of December.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, but you just know that going into, well, as a lease comes up, you know, what do I do with it now? Is it going to go back on the market? Maybe the timing of it, you kind of figure that out. Or if they're like, hey, we're going to move out and, we're buying a house. Right? That happens all the time.
I have faith these tenants are all going to buy.
That's my hope, is that the
Yeah.
tenants will,
The
the remaining
buy the
tenants
place.
will buy the units.
Yeah.
That's
you
my
bring,
hope.
Yeah, you bring it to them and say, hey.
It's been offered already.
Oh, okay.
And, they, at this point, they don't want to buy, but they still have time on their leases. So,
Got it.
and one renewed, because they have the right to renew. The other one just has a really long-term lease. So my hope is that by the time their leases are up, they'll be ready to buy.
Yeah.
Either
this.
that or the CTA gets their act together. There's two things that can happen.
What's going on with that?
Yeah, well, so you have the red purple modernization project that's been going on in the city for a few years. They're modernizing the tracks on the red and purple lines, and we have the red, purple, and the brown line that runs right behind us on Sheffield. They've modernized the tracks, like starting one block north of us and then going north, and then there's also modernized tracks south of us going south, but there's this gap. We're in that gap where the tracks are still old and loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they have modernized, it makes a big difference in the sound.
Really?
Yeah. So the hope is that they finish the project and it's quieter, and so that's less of a deterrent because we are right by the train.
I mean, honestly, I can hear anything coming to the city. I think it's okay in there, in Chicago, but once that happens, it'll be silent because of all the work that you did to silence it and all the soundproofing. It will be, I think, we have sweat equity, we have time equity, and then we have CTA equity, which is coming in. If we can hold out until that happens, it's going to be a huge game changer. And if not, someone's going to, have a really good purchase, because I think either way, whenever the leases come up, if that project's not done, someone's going to want that area, because the place is really great. There was a period where we didn't know what was happening, and she was like, we might have to move there. And I'm like, I can make it work. You know, it's a great spot.
I would love to live there. Oh my God.
Would you?
Yeah,
Which unit? 1, 2, or 3?
Well, the penthouse one was like, it was massive. It was so big.
You'd be walking up 42 stairs every day.
Yeah. Which I could do that. I'd be okay with that. You probably wouldn't, but.
I mean, with the kids,
Oh, yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah, the kids would hate it.
all their stuff.
It's a lot, yeah.
I got a guy for an elevator, so if you don't want to buy it, you can put a lift in.
Yeah, the penthouse was really cool. Honestly, I would do that one. I would totally do that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see.
All right. So you started with flipping regular single-family homes. Then you did new construction. And now you're in the lender space. So yeah, the risk went from because new construction builds is like highest risk,
I would agree.
right?
Yeah.
And then everybody always wants to get to the lender side because that's actually I believe is much lower risk because again, everything is backed by real estate and everything, as long as you're underwriting, and you're saying, well, our loan to value is always going to be less than what the property is worth always. You always kind of want to be in that lender position. So your risk adjustment has clearly gone from, so I guess to your scale that you had before, you're right in the middle.
Yeah. I finally made my way back. I was like this before real estate, then I got into real estate developing, and I was up here, and then I kind of brought it back.
Yeah, and not many people really know what risk is until they do it. You know what I mean? It's until you've actually experienced that's what risk was. I always kind of think about it like from one of our projects when we first started. We got super lucky. When I first did my first house flip, I got really lucky. Everything worked out like sunshines and rainbows, and I was like, big head, this is awesome. I'm going to go into this next project. And it was just way riskier, but I didn't understand what risk was at the time because I just came off of, something really successful. And so I didn't take the time to really understand what I was getting into. I was kind of like you, where, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, how's it a risk if you can make it work?
Right.
I'll fix it.
Right.
I don't think people know what risk is until they have money invested in it. That's my belief. You can put all the time and sweat and energy into something, but risk is money.
Yeah.
That to me is the true skin in the game. And unless you have money invested in something, you really, what you have to lose pales in comparison to the person that has money invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people might disagree, but that's how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not until you actually have, like, you've lost it before. I feel like some people have to go through, like, we've actually lost it to really understand, oh, that's what risk was.
I got 5 on it.
5 on what?
Whatever you want. I'm not risk averse.
He'll bet on anything with me.
Yeah. I love it. I had a moment one time before I was doing like, I was trying to get into real estate, and I was like, Rachel, I could be really good at stock trading. And so I kind of learned it a little bit, and then I did really well. And then one day I made like this crazy trade, and then I was like, wow, this is going well. If this happens, and then that didn't happen, or actually way the opposite happened. And there was a moment where I lost $40,000 in one day, and I had to tell her that, and I was like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I literally had this money, and then now it's gone.
Yeah. Oh, it's like all the money made on that first flip just vanished.
It was just gone. It was just. I was like, what?
I was like,
why
well,
did I do that?
don't do that again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she didn't pack her bags and leave. But it was just one of those learning things where it's like, oh, that's what risk was. Like, you can't be putting call options out there when the market's going out, and
and that's high. And that's high risk.
It was high.
There
high.
are different levels of risk, right?
Yes.
There's that wasn't maybe necessarily a calculated wise risk. That was just you being excited about something and feeling, like this is it,
Yeah.
That's a level of risk. There are different levels.
What was the stock? What was the company?
Well, it was NVIDIA, because I would trade in and out of NVIDIA. And it was, at least at the time, again, super novice, but I had identified patterns. And I'm like, oh, it's hitting the pattern again. And no, and look, it's done it every time, and I was successful with it. And like, all right, it's going to go back up because it's bouncing off. And then, but the whole market had this moment of just crush, sell, everything sold. And I wasn't expecting kind of that more of a black swan type thing. It wasn't black swan, but it was just like, well, everything sold off, and it sold off for a week straight, and I couldn't handle that pain at all. And sorry.
That's when you're supposed to buy and buy and buy more and more.
Yeah.
Double down.
Yeah.
Or you just buy index funds because you don't have the stomach for the volatility of the market.
I didn't have the stomach for it anymore. After I lost 40 grand, I was like, well, I literally don't have much more to lose here. So
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing, is that was coming out of you having just quit your job. We were living solely just off of my salary, and everything you had just made on your first endeavor after leaving your job was gone. We didn't have any more savings, really. We didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
It was early into marriage. It
goes on the level of risk and how much you have available. To lose it all. It's kind of like Bitcoin. You don't put your whole life savings into Bitcoin, right?
Right.
But the people that did, they did well. They still hold it.
I'm still holding. My life savings is not in there, but I'm still holding.
Yeah.
You
That's
have
awesome.
access to it still, unlike the guy that threw away the piece of paper that's in the landfill that he bought the landfill to try to find all of his Bitcoin.
Oh, that's
my
right. I just heard about that the other
Yeah.
day. He stopped the search finally or something.
I mean, it's definitely, if he wrote it on paper, it's gone by
Yeah.
now.
I have not heard about this guy.
Someone bought like 20,000 Bitcoins, and he had his code or his key on a piece of paper, and it got thrown away.
And so he bought the landfill to try to find it?
He crowdfunded to get the landfill to get it.
Yeah, that's the first thing they say is don't write these things down on paper or something
Yeah.
like that.
I don't know. Crypto's funny because my dad was super into it, and I bought, I don't know, $500 or $600 worth, and I was like, I'll check it in 5 years. I checked it in like 2 days, and it was like $10,000, and I was like, oh, cool. I was like, this will be fun in 5 years. I checked it in 3 days. I had $200. I'm like, what happened? Just goes up and down like crazy.
Yeah.
Every day's a new surprise with crypto.
Yeah.
That's more my speed.
Yeah.
For now.
So then, Jennie, any advice on like risk tolerance and understand like how your risk is kind of maybe adjusted over kind of the things you've seen?
Any advice?
Lend with Jennie.
That's not my advice.
That's mine.
It's a good question. I really would have to think about this answer. I don't know that I have an answer at this moment.
We've got we've got an interesting thing where, I'm on a big, anybody can become a landlord. It's actually pretty easy right now, especially if you have like a 3% mortgage rate. And oftentimes I find myself saying, well, just rent out your current place and you can buy the next place. And you can use the rental income to help you qualify and types of things like that. And you kind of dip your toe into, renting becoming the landlord, and you're renting the home that you lived in, of it. I feel like that's a good way for people to get into, becoming a real estate investor. But at the same time, I'm now just going through my first eviction, and thank God that it's in a building where there's 5 units, and 4 of them are still paying, but one of them's not. And one of them hasn't been paying for 8 months, and now we're on a timeline of I don't know when they're actually going to get out. They were supposed to be kicked out by the sheriff, and we were going through the eviction court, and now all of a sudden we're kind of in this limbo mode where I don't know what's happening, which is really disheartening. But again, I'm thanking myself that this is in a building that has other units. If this was a single family home and this person is not paying the rent, they could literally live there for over 8 months and freeload. And
crazy.
The person that owns that house is going to feel so much pain. And so I kind of sometimes have to catch myself a little bit more, where I didn't understand what that risk was until I went through the process. I've always heard of people, oh man, they're going through an eviction. Oh, that only happens on the south side of Chicago, or this is in a nicer area. But that's not the case, right? There is that risk that you are taking. And that I think I've just been awakened to more recently. And so then it's okay, we're coming up on a lease renewal on, our old house that we used to live in. And we haven't found anybody yet. Well, after going through this, Rachel's well, maybe we just sell the property, just because of the potential of that to happen.
Yeah.
So anyways.
It'd be really impactful, 8 months on that house.
It would be.
Have a much greater impact.
It would be. And so I guess as I go to think about if I'm going to continue to buy, buildings or, apartments, I don't necessarily know if I'm going to want to convert if it's only 1 unit. It's hard for me to not follow this advice, because if we were to move out of this house, I would certainly put it into a rental, and I would try that whole thing. But that's not following, what I just experienced, right? So I think from a long story, I don't know, if I'm going to buy an apartment building, it's going to be, there has to be more rental units to offset the risk.
Yeah.
Right. More people paying you on a monthly basis eliminates a lot of the risk, because if 1 or 2 of them stop, at least you can still be self-sufficient with some of the other ones.
But I think you really need to look at the eviction in a different way as well. It sucks and you had to learn a lot, but go back to that underwriting, go back to did you miss anything? What on there could have pointed to this, so that you can do those different underwriting techniques moving forward, so that you can help prevent it. It's you're the boss at the end of the day. So if someone, lost their job and they got a new job and they're 3 months in or something, but then you look back and they've done this 6 times with 6 gaps, okay, maybe I don't want this person in here. Maybe I'm going to do this. Or maybe you do. Maybe you want to give them a chance, because this is a property that you could do that, and just let them know, I'm taking a chance on you for this. But what can you learn from that eviction over reducing that risk? And for Jennie, in the year and a half that I've known her, I've known her to trust herself more with her decisions and lean on herself more and her feelings because of her education and what she's learned from everything going forward, especially with not only just tenants, but vendors as well. It's vetting vendors and
good stuff.
And knowing like, I want this vendor because of the way that they responded or how quickly they did this or how they answered this or how they gave me the proposal back. And she's really grown a bunch with her own intuition and her own trust in herself because she's always had partners in her endeavors, and she's really taken on a whole load of this business by herself as of late. I'm always there to support her, but it's moral support. Like, this is her financial support. This is her livelihood, her job, her world. And she's really grown a lot in the last year with her intuition and her trust in herself of her underwriting skills. And it's really impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Trust your instincts.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
But you also got to make sure that your instincts are talking to you properly. Because a lot of like instincts and intuition that comes from places in the body that can sometimes be compromised depending on whether or not you're healthy, mentally, physically. This all goes to like diet and lifestyle stuff. And sometimes your intuition steers you wrong. So I would say that with caveat, like to trust your intuition. Because your intuition can be misleading sometimes depending on the state of your health.
That's a really good point.
There's a
great
lot
point
to
there.
unpack there.
Yeah.
And that's probably another discussion of 3 hours another day. But yeah.
Is there something that you do now to kind of help with mental, physical, spiritual, all kinds of stuff to kind of stay in the healthy realm?
Yeah, I mean, eating is a big thing, eating mostly plant foods. I don't eat any animals. And I try to eat as many whole foods as possible, just not processed. Lift weights 4 times a week, and that is a really good antidepressant and anti-anxiety.
Yeah.
We play a lot of pickleball and love to walk and bike. And we try to do Pilates once a week, reformer Pilates. So staying active. Staying very active as much as possible and eating well. Just like the decisions you make throughout the day. I don't even really drink coffee anymore because as much as I love the taste of coffee, I know that caffeine in coffee is like a drug to me, and I just don't want to wake up one day and feel like I have a headache or I need my coffee. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
I've been that person.
Yeah.
And I volunteer. I volunteer with hospice patients. That's a big part of my life too, which I think has contributed to helping me come more to terms with my own mortality and giving me sort of an outlet to share love with someone, even if it's not necessarily given back. Because sometimes the people I work with can't express gratitude or love or things like that. 'Cause, depending on the state that they're in. But yeah, it helps me. So I think those are big parts of my life. That's my life.
What's kind of the, volunteering for hospice patients? What are some big takeaways that you've had, or maybe an experience that you really remember?
The biggest takeaway, I am still angry when I walk through nursing homes. I'm heartbroken and angry at the same time because I know that these people don't have to be there. And they're there because for one reason or another, they went down a path in life that led them to decisions that were not the healthiest. And there they are. This is the last stop is your nursing home. You're most likely dying after you're leaving the nursing home. And so my biggest piece of advice is for people to stay healthy, to be healthy, because you don't want to end up in one of these facilities.
So do you think that those decisions that those people made, they were informed decisions? And I guess to caveat off of that of, people be healthy, I think that means something different to so many different people and also so many different sources.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really interesting that you said you're angry, and I almost want to ask you, who are you angry with? Are you angry with those people who made those decisions, or do you think it's deeper than that?
It's much deeper than that. I'm angry with this. To me is something that is very prevalent in our culture, in our country. I don't think people are degenerating at the same capacity and level and depth in other countries like we are here.
They definitely are not.
Maybe some Western-inspired cultures have some of these similar things, but not to the degree that we have it here.
And when you say degenerated, you mean like the Alzheimer's and the dementia? Yeah. Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those stats are out there and available.
Yeah. So I'm angry with the system. I'm angry with, foods that are allowed to be made and sold. I'm angry with the way that people are told they need to listen to the experts, in the medical field or in other fields, government.
But everyone's paid. Every expert, every doctor, every study, everything's paid for by Coca-Cola or Johnson & Johnson. And these are the things that we grew up learning and knowing and believing forever. And it's tough to find that realization that when you go to another country and you're like, wait a second, why is this different? Why is this taste different? Or why is this made different? Why do I come over here and then it's like, how can I leave this apple out for 4 weeks on my counter and it's fine?
Yeah.
Like how is that okay?
Yeah.
And it's organic.
I remember thinking that when we went to Europe for the first time we went to, together, we first went together. We were there for 18 days. And I remember thinking, I'm going to come back being so much heavier because I ate so much food. And like halfway through the trip, I'm like, I'm actually like losing a few pounds and I feel amazing and I'm not tired, and I should be because we're so active all day and eating all of this bread. We ate so much bread over there.
Bread,
and
pasta, pizza.
Oh yeah.
Gosh,
And like, I feel incredible. Why do I feel incredible? Because if I was eating like this at home, I would be
We're also
miserable.
drinking a lot. We had a lot of the wine.
We had a lot of the wine. Yeah. I was
Didn't
like,
wake up with hangovers at all.
it was so crazy.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, when you have 3-4 ingredients in the food that you eat, you're going to feel a lot better. When you have 87 ingredients in your slice of bread that's whole wheat bread, you're like, what?
Yeah.
What is that?
That you can't even pronounce.
You can't pronounce this. It's funny you say Europe because it goes with everything. It's not just the way that our country is and how we love money so much hurts us. And it's we're not going to get any better unless we're sick, or we're not going to get any richer unless we're sick. So it's in everyone's best interest to keep us unwell. And it goes, not just with that. I remember in 2005, it was my first tour in Europe, and every single car got 50 plus miles a gallon. And I was like, that's strange. This is a Toyota Camry. Why does it get 50 miles a gallon? Ours only gets 28. Why does this Saab get 50 miles a gallon? I don't understand why the same car gets different gas mileage in the United States versus Europe. And it's because in Europe, they don't want to use gas or fuel. In the United States, we need to burn as much as we can so that we can deplete everything and everyone and spend money. And it's the same with our healthcare system. It's the same idea. It's why keep us healthy? Because that's not good for business. A lot of things fail. If we keep everyone sick and keep everyone in the system and keep everyone uneducated, then everything's the status quo. Then we're fine. I didn't know grocery stores like that we have, Jewel Osco or Whole Foods, existed until I was 13 years old. When I left my house, and I left my house when I was 13 and went out with some friends, and the friends' parents were like, we're going to the grocery store. So I thought we were going to the liquor store because that's where I got groceries, or to church, getting food out of the back of the van that was day-old bread from whatever grocery store. And we went to a grocery store. I was like, wow, there's like 7 kinds of paper towels. Like, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't even know what a paper towel was because we used to use the little cocktail napkins. and there's pastas and milks and cheeses and aisles of stuff. And I was like, this is crazy. Because neighborhoods in the poorer communities, you shop at liquor stores. And now that you see a liquor store, you're going to notice it says liquor, food, beer. That's where, you shop in the hood, is at those food shops. And growing up as a vegetarian, I had American cheese, white bread, beans, rice, and powdered milk was my options for most of my meals. And it's crazy to think that that's what we have access to. And that's what we're supposed to do. And it's just to keep us sick and to keep us controlled. So when Jennie says we eat healthy, we read labels, we work really hard. It's not easy to do what we do. I'm a very proficient chef. Jennie's very good in the kitchen. We meal prep. We prioritize time to do this to keep ourselves healthy and feeling good and not falling into that, because it is a priority for us, especially being plant-based and working out 4 or 5 times a week and playing pickleball 4 or 5 hours at a time.
Yeah.
I'm 220. I need 200 plus grams of protein, and that's not easy to come by. That's a lot of pumpkin seeds I got to eat.
Is that where you get it from?
No, we make our
mainly
own.
tofu and seitan.
We make our own
beans,
seitan now.
legumes,
Yeah.
And the seitan is really the key to it. My mom was asking me today. She was like, people are interested. How do you get 200
What
grams?
is seitan? I saw you post about it the other day. That sandwich
Yeah.
looked
Yeah.
amazing.
It's made from vital wheat gluten, so it's
Okay.
the protein extracted from the wheat.
The starch
Vital
is
wheat
removed.
gluten, and that's the base. It's like they turn it into a flour, and you mix it with a couple of things, and then you can boil it or bake it, and it is like a meat replacer, if you will.
It's a protein-dense food.
Yeah.
So we make these 10-gram protein balls, 10 grams of protein per ball. So I'll have 3 as a snack for my between breakfast lunch, 3 after lunch.
And you
We'll
can make
use
you
it
can put
in
it
our
in
eggs,
Yeah,
pasta,
awesome.
eggs,
sandwiches.
Yeah.
sandwiches, wraps, really anything. Yeah.
And we really try to find we found these great flatbreads with like 4 ingredients at Whole Foods that don't taste like cardboard. Sometimes Jennie will bring something home and I'm like, why did you give me a piece of paper to wrap this?
He's still getting used to
Tofu up.
Ezekiel bread. Yeah.
Oh, we have some of that in the freezer.
Yeah,
Ezekiel
that's
bread.
my favorite. I mean, does it taste the best? No, it's not the best tasting bread on the planet, but is it one of the healthiest? Yes.
Yeah.
You get
You
used to
know?
the taste.
It's
I
tough
think.
being
I
very
do.
well
Yeah, I do.
traveled
Yeah.
and then living here. So I know what the food tastes like elsewhere, and I know what the fruit tastes like elsewhere. And then coming home,
Yeah.
Chicago is like a food desert or fruit desert.
It's
like
a fruit desert, yeah.
it's a
They have
fruit
tons
desert.
of fruit, but finding good ones.
finding good.
Yeah.
So then, what do
It's
you do?
covered in that
What do you do
wax.
for the fruit? Where do you get it from?
Find
do
the
the
best
best
that
we
you
can.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whole Foods or wherever you can find the best that you can. And it's a crapshoot these days.
Yeah, watermelon is very tough to find here.
So things that are labeled organic, you are still very wary of.
We'll buy organic because I think it's the
better.
better option. But yeah, I don't.
It's-
I mean, I
watermelon's
don't know.
the best
I don't know
because-
that anything's really organic.
Yeah, watermelon is all GMO'd now, and having seedless organic watermelon is kind of funny to me. It's like it should have seeds in it. It should have the black seeds in it and
Right, yeah.
and be normal. But all we can do is the best that we can.
Yeah.
And that's the true definition of veganism: is doing the best that we can for the animals, for our environment, and for our bodies.
Just don't get sick. That's the key. Anything you can do to prevent yourself from going to an assisted living facility or a nursing home, and you are above by leaps and bounds.
Even the hospital, right?
The
Just trying to stay out of the hospital.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, barring
Yeah.
anything catastrophic,
Right.
that you just,
I do recommend that hernia surgery here in Chicago.
Did it work out?
Very good.
But
Awesome.
you had a good
Yeah,
surgeon.
sometimes you
Had
got
a
it,
good
right?
What was the recovery like?
We have 3 holes that are very prone to hernias, no matter your health. It's just what it is. Our intestines push through where our testes drop. Like that's just what it is. And then 1 for our umbilical cord. So it's very common in men. My first hernia surgery was awful. Don't want to talk about it. My second one, got out of surgery, and we went to the farmer's market
The next day.
the next day.
Whoa.
So he
and
was
walked
walking
around.
slowly.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
on day 2 or 3, we did like a 3-mile walk. Like we just
Wow.
walked for a couple hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like
And-
4 days later, you played a little pickleball.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, really incredible here. And
And you also had somebody there with you.
yeah.
You know, his first surgery, he
I
didn't have
Ubered.
anybody taking care of him. That makes a big difference too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
And I wasn't as healthy. I just
Right.
wasn't.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the recovery is always sometimes a lot better when you go into that surgery when you're actually in pretty good shape.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and in love. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a reason to come out alive.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
gonna wake up from this one, please.
I woke up and I said, "Where's Jenny?"
That's right.
That's awesome. You guys.
I
are-
didn't even think that whenever the anesthesiologist was like pushing me back to the OR, I was like, I'll be asleep before we even get there. And she was like, we need to tell you some things before. And then I woke up
He's out.
and I was done.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was the fastest surgery.
That's awesome. I've really enjoyed this conversation, guys. Anything else you want to dive into?
Well, yeah, but
Oh.
I think we probably do need to wrap it up. I feel like we could do a whole nother show with you guys. I have so many more things I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I do want to get more into like the veganism and the diet and the health stuff, but I don't know. That's a big animal.
I mean, we
to-
love talking about it. It's
We could
big
talk
for
about it
us.
probably on
Yeah.
another podcast or another chat or whatever. Yeah. I
Yeah.
Mean, unless
What's like your
I mean,
burning?
we're
What's your
happy
burning
to
question?
talk about it now, but it's up to you guys because y'all have kids.
What's your burning question?
Well, I think my first question would be where did it come from? Like when did it start and why? What was like the underlying reason? Because you said you grew up a vegetarian, which I was surprised to hear that too. So that started very early for you, but that wasn't true for you, I don't believe, right?
Right. Yeah, I grew up eating everything.
Yeah.
And when I was back in 2015-ish, I started learning about just the animal industry, like the farming industry. I saw some videos that horrified me on social media, and I was like, I can't believe that they do this to animals, and I'm eating these animals. So I was heartbroken. Around the same time, I discovered the Gentle Barn, which is a nonprofit organization. They're an animal sanctuary. They rescue, rehabilitate neglected and abused farm animals. And what they do is they bring in groups of kids who are maybe facing similar situations in their lives and have maybe a hard time trusting people, and they bring them to the farm animals, and then they connect with the animals, and they learn to maybe build some confidence and communication skills and trust through working with the animals. So it's kind of like a dual faceted organization. But I went to the Gentle Barn. We had one in Knoxville. It's they have like public tours on Saturday where you can go and learn all about the Gentle Barn history and learn about some of their animals, go meet the animals, pet them. They all had names. And I mean, I fell in love with the cows and the pigs there. And I learned the story about the veal industry being a byproduct of the dairy industry. Like I had always known about the veal industry from when I was younger, just with baby cow. I'm like, I don't understand this. So I never ate veal growing up, never. But I didn't know that the dairy industry was just as despicable, if not more. And I learned that at the Gentle Barn. So between seeing the animal cruelty videos on farming and like those undercover videos, and then visiting the Gentle Barn.
I was 13 years old and a baseball player, and I was getting a physical for baseball, and this frail doctor, he was like, you should really think about going vegan. It'll make you stronger. And I was like, looked at him and I was like, are
what?
you vegan? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm doing everything I can to gain weight, and you don't look like you can gain weight. So I just blew it off. I really blew it off. And I was a junketarian. My dad always called me a junketarian for most of my life. And I realized in my 30s, I just kept eating the same junk, like cheese quesadilla, bean and cheese tacos, occasional salad here and there, broccoli with cheese, just cheese on everything, and a lot of eggs. And I felt like I was 80 years old, like my joints hurt, my bones hurt, and I just chalked it up as I lived a rough life. And I went to a few doctors, and they're all like, yeah, you know, you got to get surgery, but you're not old enough. So when you're 55, come back and we'll do the couple things. It'll make you feel better. Until then, here's Oxycontin. I'm like, I'm 32. You want me to take oxycodone or Oxycontin until I'm 55? And you're like, yeah, that's what we do. And I was like, there's got to be something different. So it's probably 11 years ago now. I was like, I'm going to challenge myself to eat better. I'm going to just eat better. I'm going to be vegan for 60 days. See how this goes. Because that'll force me to eat vegetables, get away from cheese, like figure it out. So I did, and I jumped. I ate rice and beans almost every day for the first week. And then I found a meal delivery service that had vegan stuff, and I got a little bit more kind of inspiration on it. And on day 22, I did a memorial bike ride. I'm a big cyclist, and I did 102 miles on the bike in Austin, Texas, and I averaged 22 miles an hour and got it under 6 hours for the first time, a 100-mile ride.
Whoa.
And I got back, and I was like, oh, man, I was like, this, my last 2 miles were uphill, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, I feel good. I feel like an 18-year-old. And then the next day, I woke up and I was like, I'm going to go do a quick 20-mile ride, a couple hours, because I'll be really sore if I don't. I did 50 miles faster than I ever did, and I felt better than ever, better than the day before. And I was like, well, this is crazy. So I got home and I was like, Google, does veganism help you bike better? Does veganism help your libido? Does veganism, then I started finding the documentaries and everything, and I kind of did it ass backwards than a lot of people. Most people go vegan and then, or watch documentaries or go to Gentle Barn and go vegan after that. Mine was very reverse. It was, I challenged myself. That was all on day 22 and 23. Then I was like, if I feel like this, I'm never going to eat cheese again. And I had full intention of eating cheese and eggs again, just full intention. And on 22 days in, I was just like, I'm out. And then over the last 10 years, it's been a lot more into the cruelties and the animals and the environment. I had no clue. One hamburger, 700 gallons of water to produce. I had no clue. And I grew up in Texas, which is prone to droughts, and San Diego, which is prone to droughts. And I'm taking 4-minute showers trying to save 2 gallons. And here's don't eat a hamburger, it saves 700 gallons. That's just mind blowing to me, trying to be sustainable. So the sustainability aspect really kicked in as well over the years. So my journey into veganism from vegetarianism was, I was a junketarian that felt like crap. Oh, and the best part of it all, I was allergic to fruit, allergic to everything, and had to have allergy shots every day for years, and all my allergies went away. I can eat fruit.
Really?
Oh, 100%. And
yeah, that's huge.
that was
never be able to
that
live
was the
without
biggest
fruit.
one. Is I was living hand to mouth with Zyrtex and Claridins, and Austin with cedar fever, barely being able to wake up. And
The health benefits are really, if you do vegan right, because it was the animals for me. I was telling you.
Yeah, no, Tristan, actually, your veganism story is actually very inspiring, because you're like, this is how I felt. I felt awful, and all of a sudden I feel so much better because I made this change. And I've never actually heard that from somebody that has gone vegan. I've always feel like most of the time I feel it's been, it's more of an ideology thing, and that's the reason I did it. And then I found the benefits, but yours is kind of different.
But it's important to know that veganism doesn't mean that you're healthy. A lot of people associate veganism with I'm healthy. You can be a very unhealthy vegan and still feel awful every day if you're eating fried fake chicken and dipping it in fake ranch,
Oreos,
eating
Yeah.
Oreos
yeah,
and
Nutter Butters and
Pop-Tarts
processed
and stuff.
breads
Like,
and
you're going to
protein
feel like
bars.
crap. But eating healthier and removing the dairy from your life and the cheese, for me especially, like my joints
Yeah.
never felt better. Like
That's a big thing.
like my elbows and all my tough life. I thought, I was a man because I lived a rough life and I was in pain at 32 years old. That's not real. That was just what I ate. And to find out that I was lied to from doctors for years and lied to from my coaches playing baseball, trying to pressure me to eat meat to gain weight, like I should have listened to that frail doctor. I didn't know. He wasn't really encouraging, if you will.
Yeah.
But it's not really, I don't know if it really would have been possible, honestly. Jennie has really opened the door to me and the idea of protein and what it is. I've never thought about it outside of taking protein shakes and thinking that that's what I needed to weight lift, because I've never had a problem gaining muscle. And now eating 200 grams of protein a day and feeling full more often and really working on it and prioritizing and being able to see my strength and my athletic ability advance further and further at 42 years old is really great. Like I feel just as good today as I did when I was 18 playing baseball.
Damn.
I got
That's
asked
awesome.
to throw
Wow.
the first pitch at a game, and I was like, maybe I could throw it fast enough that they'll want me to join their team.
That's awesome. I mean, honestly, like there are very, very few people that you could say, hey, I'm in my 40s and I feel like I'm 18 or I'm in my 20s in the best shape of my life. Like it's always the opposite of that. It's,
Yeah.
I just pulled a hamstring again. Like, because I'm washed up.
There's so many people in our friend network in their 30s and 40s who talk about, the oohs and the ahs and the pain, this and I'm like, and they say, oh, I'm getting older. I'm like, it has nothing to do with your age.
It's not normal. It's normal here.
It is
Yeah.
not normal to just grow older
Yeah.
and be in pain and break.
Just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
there's this this resort to comfortness that we just love here, right? It's you gotta be comfortable, and sometimes that's sitting in a chair all day, and maybe go for a little walk, but it's not much more than that, and
Yeah.
no wonder your body hurts because you're not really putting in the discipline every day. And you, Tristan, you work out 4
times a week.
times a week.
Weightlifting. We do
Yeah.
Pilates
Yeah,
and tons of pickleball.
yeah. Oh,
Tons
that's
of
awesome.
pickleball.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we're trying to, incorporate more stretching.
And I say pickleball, like we do really high level pickleball now. In the beginning, it was, like a little hit here and there, and your partner was 70 years old. But now we're playing 24-year-olds that,
Oh, cool. Wow.
Often it's hard to find.
You're competing.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I'd like to compete a little bit more, but she had a whole another life of competing in volleyball. But we're at a higher level of play to where it's a real aerobic workout where when we leave, we're like, wow, we just really went after it.
Sweat
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's wrap here. So how we always do this is just kind of like, what's the biggest takeaway from this conversation? So we spent over 2 hours talking with these guys. Rachel, what's your biggest
I always
takeaway
have to
here?
go first.
Yeah, I know, because I always start it. So
Yeah, you do. That's hard. There's a lot.
there's a lot here.
Yeah,
It's not an easy answer. This is not an easy,
It's
and we're
not- yeah.
going to come back to you guys too. Your biggest takeaway from the conversation, but yeah, it's never an easy answer.
I think my takeaway is actually hopefully a segue into another conversation with you. But it stuck with me when you said, when we were talking about trusting your gut and how you want to make sure that your gut isn't your instinct isn't deceiving you because of other things that are going on. You want to make sure that, your mental state is in a good place, physically you're in a good place, your spirit's in a good place, all of these things, right? And I would love to dive into that even deeper with you at some point, hopefully on the show too, so we can share that. But that was kind of my takeaway. It was like, well, trust your instincts, but also your instincts can deceive you. So make sure you're not in a clouded state with your instincts when you're trusting them.
Just like AI.
Yeah.
Trust
The
it.
mind. The
Challenge,
mind.
you know what, that's a
challenge
good
it.
one too. Challenge AI. Don't take their first
Yeah.
answer as the end all be all. Be like, but wait a minute, I know this.
The mind gut connection. It's a book. There's like a subtitle to it too. It's pretty long, but the mind gut connection. Blah 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 blah. By Emron Meyer, I think.
Okay.
You might enjoy that very
Yeah,
much.
I
That's
think I
where I
would.
learned all about what I said there. It can tell you more about it than I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's good.
Great book. Very, very heady. You have the head for it.
Well, it struck me because, not that I want to go into like deep of a personal conversation, but it struck me because I obviously just had a baby 11 weeks ago, right? And like you go through like this huge like emotional roller coaster right afterwards because of all the hormones. And I was just sitting there thinking like, gosh, if I would have taken like my instinct or my thoughts at any like pinpointed period of that, it could have been vastly different, right? And it's I obviously this is my third baby, so I know like you ground yourself in knowing these are just the hormones. This is not real. Like it's not. But it struck me because I'm like, gosh, that's such a true thing. You know, just in so many different aspects. So.
Yeah. I honestly just admired you guys because you guys just kind of like go out there and do it. And I really kind of appreciate people that you try new things and like, well, you kind of going with your veganism story. Like you tried that because you wanted to go feel better. Like there was something about you and Jennie where it's like, you know, you started with the flipping and then you did new construction and now you're starting this whole lending business and you're just doing it. And it's just so cool. We didn't really talk about like your initiative, but it's just something that I really do appreciate about you guys is that you have real experience and you've learned from it. And then you've also found a partnership between the two of you where you kind of lift up each other and you just kind of go out.
Didn't even get into that either.
Yeah, no, and it's a brilliant. I mean, it's beautiful to witness from the other side of the table here. But I just appreciate both of you guys from that perspective, where you know what, we've learned some things over the years, and we're really smart about it now, and we try to adjust our risk and do some other things, and we know that these are the steps where we need to stay out of the hospitals, we need to stay out of the intervention stuff, and like let's just focus on diet. Go back to kind of fundamentals and, you know, be active, do things we pursue and enjoy and be present and hug somebody a little bit longer. And it's just really cool to be around people that are like that. So big takeaway from the conversation is all that. So
That's awesome, you guys.
what about you guys?
Biggest
Any
takeaways?
reflections over the last 2 hours?
Do you want to go?
You go first. Ladies first.
I mean, there are so many. I think,
You want me to go?
yeah, you go.
I love being in this life that I have. It's been a journey, and I feel like the last year I've just scratching the surface of my potential and where I'm going, and just now finding the tools I need to keep accelerating to new levels that I have no idea where it is. And Jennie is my foundation, and being on this with her and just listening to her just makes it even more every day. Every day I fall more and more in love, and she's everything that I've always wanted and never knew that I needed. And it's been a really great journey, and I can't wait to keep going further.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love that.
That's awesome.
I know I've done really awesome stuff, but I know that the best stuff that I'm gonna do, I haven't done yet.
Tristan is a romantic man.
Yeah,
I will
you
tell
are.
you that.
I mean, I have so many takeaways. The thing that just keeps coming back to me is, honestly, I mean, I'm so thankful for you, and I love you, and you know, I could profess my love to you all day, and I love you, Rachel. But I am so grateful that I met you, Jason, because everything that I've been doing the last, 4 or 5 years has been kind of like there's been this undercurrent of the Jason Wagner, effect. I think I just came up with that.
I like that.
I mean, and I think
It's the name of the new podcast.
Jason, I feel like anybody that meets Jason and gets to know him, gets to know you, feels the same way. Because the way that you've helped in so many ways with the business decisions that I made. Like, even if I don't come to you for every business decision, there's always this thought that goes through my head, like, well, how would Jason underwrite this, or what would he think about this? And then I see your posts on social media with those, smart little, like, one line. I'm like, that's just so freaking good. He needs to write a book. But like, yeah, a lot of the things that I've done over the last few years, whether it's in real estate, as an agent, buying, selling, which I do very little of, or underwriting deals in some capacity, or doing rentals, and even lending, and just, relationships and partnerships. And, you're that way too, and I think that the fact that I came to Greystone was, I've said this publicly, on social media, that it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I don't think that people who join brokerages have the kind of support that we have from you. And so I'm really grateful for that and for you. So
Thank you for that.
That's really sweet.
Thank you for that. Jason Wagner effect. I love that.
it's a real thing.
I love that. Well, thank you. Yeah, no, and Jennie, and which is really cool, because we do support each other in a lot of things, and you're active on social media, and some I am too, but sometimes you don't get anybody to like anything, but you just keep going. But Jennie's out there watching it, and it's great. and then she'll drop something out there that's like, you should write a book, and I'm like, you're right, I should.
Yeah.
So I love it. We feed off each other, and it's awesome.
It's
So
good stuff. Yeah. I'm grateful for both of you. Yeah. So thank you. Thanks for being around, and I'm glad I discovered Andrew at that party back in
That's right.
was
Yeah.
it late 2020, maybe
Yeah.
the holiday party.
Yeah.
The holiday
Standing
party.
at the table.
Multi-family club.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
Party,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been awesome. You can meet some cool people at those multifamily parties, and they become long friends.
Yeah.
So, very cool. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for coming on. Appreciate it. And I'm sure listeners out there, they probably found some value in the show. So if you wouldn't mind, please share it. And we will catch you on the next episode.